Hey guys, it's Spadoodle. You can always go to davidspade.com to look at my tour dates because I bless a lot of cities in America with my hilarious stand-up act. Or you could not go to it and get on my enemy list. Up to you. You guys, today is Joe Piscopo. Now, people have asked us to have on different people. You know, we've had so many people on, but Joe Piscopo is one of the OGs. And I hate to say, when you say his name, usually people say, oh, he was back in the Eddie Murphy days. And he was Eddie Murphy's probably best friend. And I think they're still very close. But that was back in that era. So it was after the first 5 years. Then there was a couple of grumbly years and getting on their feet. But he was there when he and Eddie were tearing it up. And he was huge. He did a great job on the show. He has so many funny stories. He's just very good at telling stories. And he really brings it. He knows how to talk. He knows how to entertain you. He used to do impressions. We do a few of those. Of course, Dana jumps in on those. And he's just a very, very likable guy and a very humble guy. And we had a great time talking to him. So without further ado, here we go, Joe Piscopo. Joe has left the Zoom.
I'm here. I got you. Except I can't see. I got something saying record by staying in this meeting. Okay, I consent. Got it. Okay. There's my man.
Yeah,
Dana.
that's right.
Are we recording now, or is this?
Yep.
Like
We're always recording. We don't have any intro. We're not like professional. We don't say, here's our guest or anything. No. We just go.
Where's David? Where'd David go?
I'm right here. Do you see me?
There you are, baby. How are you, man?
I'm way at the bottom of the screen. I don't know.
Look at his stuff.
Hey.
Look at his stuff
I gotta
back
tell
there.
you, David, can I start? Dana crushed it at an event on Friday night. He was out there, and it was like 800, close to 1,000 baseball players who just wanted to talk like baseball.
Right.
Dana go, and a lot of folks have done the event and haven't done really well. Great. So Dana goes, "How's it going to be, Joe?" And I go, "It's going to be great." I gave him one of those. It's going to be great. And you nailed it. Dana, you nailed it.
I was off. I lost my notes. Did you find them? I lost my notes. I didn't know where I was. I felt bad about that one for a while, but afterwards, Joe, being very nice, said, "Did you tell him?" To like our producer, Matt. He goes, "Everyone has a tough time here, even Seinfeld." You know, so I didn't know the bar was low, but yeah, it was a little extremely nice people. But the room went way back, and there was a lot of chatter because it's a cocktail party. You know, were you playing to a pre-tape? Or you had a band? I was just off to the side. So you come out and sing.
No, a little of both. We had a live band there, but I cranked what you heard. What you heard was a pre-tape. We cranked it up to make it easier.
But that's also.
But I put the live girls on stage. David, I've turned into the Wayne Newton of comedy. Thank you.
That's
so I just got the girls singing with me on stage. It was a whole thing. It was fun though, man.
Listen, I love it. I've done those kind of corporate gig or a charity gig. I did one just up in Calgary. They wound up being very nice, but you know, it's always a crapshoot. You just don't know. They have other things in their mind.
Yeah.
And if you're a surprise while they're eating their steak, they go, "It's been an 8-hour meeting, and now we're going to hold you hostage for one more hour while we hear." And they go, "Stevie Nicks, David Spade." Oh, I heard it was Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. I always say, when did they get up? 6 a.m. for the breakfast meeting. When did the open bar start? At 4. When do I go on? 11. Okay. All right.
11 at night.
So I got to tell you, David. I always, when I MC, like back in the days when I started at the Improv 100 years ago, before you young people were born, you know,
we want to know that.
I would always, but I would always be cognizant and responsible to who's on stage because it's your job to get the crowd going and then hand it off, you know. Mm-hmm. So I felt that way with Dana particularly, you know. So I'm going like, okay, so we start the whole thing. And it's going great. The data comes out and I go, wow, he's really working. He's working with the crowd. It's great. And now he's going to close. And then we're going to start the night in the awards. And we're going to close it. And then he picks up his guitar, strums the guitar. It's dead as a door. Dead. He can't get, and I'm going, oh man. So I'm off stage. It's dead. I'm off stage and I'm going. So I go to the guy with the headphones, my buddy Jordan, and go, Jordan, call the back of the room, man. His monitor's out. I'm not getting anything. And they couldn't figure it out. And I said, give me the mic. So they gave me the mic. So I walked out on stage and I held my microphone next to Dana's guitar, and I was just mic stand.
Well, you know what? You helped out.
And then you had a great one-liner at that point because you're kind of bending down. Actually, you placed the mic perfectly. I don't know if you know that, to get some volume because it was a short.
What I do.
And then what Joe said was, "This is
a career highlight for me."
Good job.
Big laugh from Uncle Joe. I like that. It was great. But I tell you, it was great. It was great, you know, and it was fun. And thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Frank. I mean, Joe.
Joe, sometimes those gigs are contractually like 60 minutes and that's why, like, if Dana is short 5 minutes, you sometimes have to go do something extra, even if you're killing, because you might get off 99% of the time. They said, great. We didn't even need that long. You did great. But sometimes they go, we paid you for an hour. You did 54. And you go, oh my God.
It's all flipped. They said 45. And then they sent me a text the day of the show and said, really apologizing, saying, could you do just 30? Because when Joe was backstage, he goes, what are you going to do? 20, 25? You know, because like I said, we're an aperitif. We're not the show. But then later they said, well, if you feel it, go longer. I don't know how long I did. But anyway, Joe was there, got to hang out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you look at your phone while you're on stage? You glanced at it to make sure you had the time, right? Did I see you do that? I saw you had a phone on stage. You were worried.
I must have lost a sense of time. I don't remember. You know, because my guitar thing is like I'm going all over the stage.
I'm in the zone.
It's really loud. It's like for a room that's a little unsettled, it's a big closer. And then when it's like, it happens about every 20 shows, like, oh, there's a short, it's not going to be amplified. So I just sort of froze until you rescued me. Folks, Joe Piscopo has been our guest today. And This is about an event we did. No. So can we go back just for a second to you, just a little out of bog. We know that your time on SNL at 80, but you're very young when you get on the show. How did that happen so quick? Right? Are you tell us that little journey.
I think it was about 26, 27 when we hit, man. And I went to the Improv and tell me if I talk too long, man. Love you guys. By the way, with great respect, you, Dana, to you, David, great respect for you guys. Cause you held a great legacy of SNL and, and just so proud to be with you here. And it's really cool to be with you, you know. But what I did, I just wanted to be a working stiff, you know, but I went to the improvisation because I heard that they had like comedy nights, just like all of us did. Mm-hmm. This was in New York. It was 44th and 9th. Mm-hmm. It was Hell's Kitchen. It was back in the 70s when New York was a million times even worse than now. It was terrible. I remember distinctly walking from the parking lot where I parked the car, and then I walked down 44th Street, and there were like, bodies and police lines, you know what I mean? And I go, oh, that's good. Somebody got whacked, It was like that. It was like that. So then I said, well, let me at least try it. So I remember I went in the first night was audition night, and God, you guys are young, and it was like when back then that is when comedy was rock and roll. It was, I'm telling you, all of a sudden comedy just came into its own, and I went, I got to try that. I just wanted to get on stage and then be a working stiff. Let somebody hire me to do the third, fourth lead in an hour, episodic. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Get on fucking Matlock.
Great reference. And that's exactly what I was thinking. The bar wasn't too high for me, David. What am I going to tell you? So not to take anything away from Matlock. So I came in Lincoln Tunnel, came around, going down 9th Avenue. I looked down at the Improv. There had to be 400 people jammed, like it was like Times Square in Hell's Kitchen, jammed. And I looked and I said, and I panicked and I went right back into the Lincoln Tunnel and went right back home, totally chickened out. Then I came back and when people had to just start out, we used to have to get there because everybody wanted to do comedy at the time, 12 noon. And at 8 o'clock, roughly 8:30, the Improv would come out. Judy Orbach would come out and she would hand out numbers. So to see when you would be on. So if you got there earlier, like at noon, you could kind of go, all right, I'm on third. And then each week, me, Gilbert Gottfried, Alan Combs was there, Larry David was there, Jerry came later, but we would jockey numbers around, to see when you would go on. And you would get your 5 minutes, man, your 5 minutes. And it was the most petrifying thing in the world. And I did that for about 6 weeks. And then I finally for some reason they put me up and it worked, and Chris Albrecht, gave me this. He got this, he got me this,
HBO. Was he the HBO?
Just an agent.
Yeah. And one of the great television executives ever, club manager and owner with Bud Friedman and Silver Friedman back in the late 70s. Went on to be an agent.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
and
that.
he was my agent in the 80s, Chris Albrecht.
Chris Albrecht was?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Before HBO.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
Like, we used to call him the general because we used to play. Guys, we used to play. There's got to be a film or a documentary about it. We used to play softball. We were all Yankee fans. We'd go to Central Park, and then Larry was there. Larry David was there, and Larry was then just the way he is now. Completely neurotic. And he would just be there, and he would say the most brilliant things. When Larry went on stage, when finally I became a regular, and we used to have to work out, and you'd get up at 1, 2 in the morning. When Larry went on stage, everybody would just rush to the little opening that led to the showroom, which was about a couple hundred people, and we would watch Larry. And he would get into fights with the audience, like you hear about. It was true. Mm-hmm. So he would get in with his attitude and start fighting back and forth. But it was genius. And everybody knew Larry is a genius. And then I can remember distinctly, we would play softball. And then I was playing third base. Larry was playing shortstop. And then I could hear Larry, and we're waiting. And, the game is on. I hear Larry going, he's like miserable about it. In the middle of the game. And I go, and I got to keep my eye on the batter because I'm in the hot corner. I go, Larry, what happened? I stepped in dog shit. I stepped in dog do. I stepped in. What'd you do? He goes, I threw away my shoes. I have no shoes. This was a legitimate conversation with Larry David.
An episode of Curb, yeah.
Exactly. It was exactly right. So it was bizarre. But then we heard that SNL was leaving, and John Belushi and Danny would come hang out at the clubs, particularly Catch a Rising Star. The comedy clubs were it was Hell's Kitchen, and then it was the Upper East Side was Catch, even before the comic strip.
But they had blown up, Joe. So those are two monster stars coming in.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but we didn't know when they first went on the air. We were all working Saturday night live.
Oh, okay.
We were working on Saturday nights, and we didn't even know. And I remember being at the bar at Catch a Rising Star, and I go, "How you doing?" And nice as ever, it was John Belushi. Hey, John Belushi. Hey, I'm on a new show Saturday Night Live, and Danny Aykroyd right there. The times were nuts, man. Patty Benatar down by the bar, it was crazy. But then we heard they left, and they were leaving, and they needed a new cast. And I didn't want anything to do with it because you couldn't replace the original cast. You just couldn't. I mean, it was Gilda and Danny Aykroyd, and it was Chevy and John, and you couldn't do it, and I didn't want to do it. So long story short, even longer than this.
Take your time.
I had a friend there was a writer named John DeBellis, and John was hired by Gene Domanian, who was the new producer, Lauren's former right hand. And I don't know what happened politically there, but Gene was running the show, and Gene said, "I need a utility guy." And John said, "I know Joe Piscopo's at the clubs. He does characters and voices." She goes, "Bring him up." So I went right up to the 17th floor, and I auditioned for Gene. And I heard she used like Woody Allen as a reference because she and Woody were very close.
Yes.
So I did the audition, and they go, "Okay, you could now do the big audition." And I go, "What?" And they did a sweep of that town. NBC came in and they swept the town. And the big buzz was like, who's going on SNL? Who's going to replace the original cast? Yeah. So, and everybody was scared and they wanted to do it. I said, I don't know, but I don't want to do it. I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. I was doing commercials. I was doing, like comedy clubs, and I was doing great. That was my career high, Dana, for real.
I got it.
So then they go, "Okay, now you got to go to the regular audition." And I go to the regular audition, and it was me, and there were some great talented people. That Gilbert was there, Paul Rubens was there. He was there when I was there. And, yep. He did.
So can I ask you one question, Joe? How many years were you doing stand-up before 1980? Was it 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah,
and you
4.5.
And you at one point knew could do impressions and voices. You had that kind of style.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you got noticed. Now you don't want the show. So, but you're going to do.
But it's perfect for the show, but you don't want it.
So then what?
No,
so then what happened?
Well, no. We do the audition, and then they go, "Okay, we want to hire you." So Chris calls me, Albrecht calls me. You got the part. You're going to be the utility guy, you know. And I'm going, and I remember arguing with him because I was making good money. I joined SAG and AFTRA, and I said, you can't replace Belushi and Aykroyd. Please don't make me do it. And Chris he was the boss back then to all of us young guys. And he was our age too. But I said to him, all right, man, I'll go in, but I don't feel good about this.
You feel like it's no win, right?
It was. And you know what, David, I don't want to say nothing, but I was right. Kind of, we did 10 shows, nobody's fault. You just couldn't replace America's favorite television show, one of the greatest television shows of all time. The writing of Alan Zweibel, the writing of Herb Sargent, Franken and Davis. You couldn't replace that, and we didn't. But Jean Dominion was great. I remember I went up. She said, "You're in." She hired Gilbert. She hired a couple other people, and then there was a kid, and he's up there on 17th floor in the back, off of Lauren's office. There was a little sitting area, and I said, they said, "Joe, this is Eddie Murphy." I said, "Hey, Eddie, how you doing? We're from Long Island. Never heard of him. Never knew him." We hit it off immediately, and they said, "Yeah, they want me to audition." So I go, "All right, what do you want to do, man?" This is exactly the way it happened. And he goes, we said, "Let's do the word association sketch that Chevy and Richard Pryor did. Let's do that. You do Pryor, I'll do Chevy, and we'll do it." So we're in an office. We're upstairs on the 17th floor. And then we had the script, and we did the word association, as an inappropriate as it was.
A famous sketch where it was incredibly, could not do it today, but it was Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor. So you guys duplicated that, just met, got the script from people there, and then okay. So then what happened? Fascinating.
Well, then Eddie just crushed it, man. I mean, he was he crushed, and I'm next to him going like, "Oh man!" So now they wait. Okay, we'll let you know, to Eddie. And if I remember correctly, and I went into Gene, I said, "This kid's the next Pryor. This kid is the next Pryor." I said, "That was unbelievable." Well, we don't know. NBC thought he was too edgy. He was too edgy. We said no. True. So they made him. They made him a featured player. Which meant
funny. And he's 19, right? In 18, 19?
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah, so they brought him in, and little by little, so we did 10 shows. Gilbert was on it, and it just nobody's fault. I don't want to, and I got a big shout out to Billy Murray, the genius of Billy Murray, the heart of Billy Murray, one of the great guys ever. He came in on that new cast, and he guest hosted, and that meant a lot. And then he took us out, and he all kind of brought us together, but it just didn't work. So cut to this, and tell me if I'm talking too much, because I want to lay this out.
We want you to talk. This is great. I knew you'd be a great guest, and you are. So go ahead.
Listen. So then we go like this. We go, NBC pulled the plug. What happened? It's off. And we were off the air. 10 shows. I thought I knew this would happen. Say, Chris, I told you. So now they're calling everybody up to the 17th floor. Now they replaced Jean Dominion. And by the way, Jean gets credit. She hired me, but she hired, even more importantly, Eddie Murphy. She hired Eddie Murphy. You got to give Jean Dominion credit for that. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. So now they're bringing Dick Ebersol. Dick Ebersol is legendary.
So Dick Ebersol, he was sort of there with Lauren a little bit in the beginning. He's an NBC. Yeah.
How do you guys know the history, man? Listen, Dick Ebersol was the executive at NBC that was with Brandon Tartikoff, rest his soul. Yeah. Another great NBC executive, as Ebersol was, as Mr. Ebersol was, and then I think Dick and Lauren were very close. I think so. That's the way it happened. So I guess they went to Lauren. They said, "Look, sorry, what do we do now?" And I don't know. This is conjecture. Mm-hmm. And they brought in Dick. So Dick, we went into Lauren's office, but Ebersol's there, and I'm sitting out there in the writer's wing, and everybody's coming out, and they're all getting whacked, guys. It was like this.
Everyone's getting whacked.
They're firing.
It was like St. Valentine's.
Entire
They bring you in to fire you.
Yeah, they brought everybody in, whacked one by one. It was like the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Listen, so then I remember Ann Risley, great talent, whacked. Denny Dillon, great talent, whacked.
Whacked.
They got Charlie Rocket, rest his soul. Rocket used the F, dropped the F-bomb, done.
Easy whack.
Tim Krasinski, was he whacked or kept?
No, Tim came in later. This
okay.
was like, this was a preliminary. Yeah. So now Gilbert to me was one of my best friends. Yeah. And we came up together at the clubs. He walked out and he goes, I got fired. He got fired. And I said, you got fired? So now they go, all right, Episcopal Murphy, come on in. So me and Eddie go in, and me and Eddie had sets to do at the comic strip or wherever we were going. We were in our heads. That's where we were. So, and we didn't care. And I fed off of the reckless abandon of Eddie Murphy because he just didn't care about anything. It was a beautiful thing to be a part of. So now we're going into Lauren's beautiful office, and Dick Ebersol's back there like this, and I sit down, and he sits down, and Dick goes like this. Well, Eddie, Joe, we've decided to keep you. And we went, I'll never forget, great, Dick, look, we got a couple sets, and we got to make our set if you mind. We could care less. I think the cockiness helped, guys, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
But it was like, I mean, so that was it. And then
were you relieved, or were you sort of like, oh no, I'm stuck on the Titanic?
Oh no, I'm stuck on the Titanic.
Yeah. I really thought, it wasn't really helping you at that point. You're like, God, we're just going to sink further in this.
I know, exactly. Yeah. But I got to, but again, a shout out to, I'm sure he leaned on Lorne, but Dick Ebersol knew what he said, you couldn't match, fellas, the writing of the genius of the original cast. You couldn't match it.
100%.
Because it was a perfect storm.
Yes.
With the politically, with the way Lorne put everything together, it was genius.
And whoever was going to follow that original, because they're the original rock stars of the hit, comedy. Yeah. They were, and then it was impossible to follow. I had a buttress of years, but to follow that, hard.
And proof is Eddie Murphy. You couldn't scout in the whole country a better guy that does well on SNL. And was he blowing up at all, or was it still just people just turned the TV off?
No, it started to catch on a little bit. You know why? Yeah, you have to give Dick Ebersol credit because he brought in entertainment. He said, we can't match the hipness of Lorne's original show. Let's just entertain. Let's just be funny. So that was a great lesson. That was, I don't know if Lorne told, Mr. Ebersol that, whatever it was, we went on. And then Eddie and I, out of, I guess, fear and survival, we kind of just joined together and started writing for ourselves, reaching out to two great writers, Barry Blaustein, David Sheffield, and they were the key writers for Eddie and I. Tim Kazurinsky came in, and Timmy really was the captain of that cast. Mm-hmm. He was great. And Mary Gross came in.
Yes.
And we had, you know what? We started to gel a little bit, started having some fun a little bit. And I got to tell you, I think what probably made it work when Eddie and I were doing the in-ones. David, I said to Dana the other night, I said the great thing that Dana always did, and you as well, is that the in-ones is what really I thought sold it. You wanted to see the church lady. You wanted to see whether for me, the
direct to camera, right?
Yeah, right directly to the camera. We would write these silly, crazy Eddie sketches, whatever it was. And Eddie and I would do the in-ones together, or I would do it, and that seemed to gain, some steam. And I go, my people, we go like this. By the grace of God, it worked. It just I couldn't tell you how.
Just for a second, because my brain gets curious about this stuff. So how many episodes did you do with Gene Domanian before it was sort of just 10?
Just 10.
And then there's a purge, and then the show starts again in the fall. Was there a gap of it not being on the air?
Yeah, there was a gap of it not being in it.
Really canceled. I did not know
that. It was almost like a funeral and a wake for the first season, the great people. And then it's like, okay, they took the hit, the first 10 shows. Mm-hmm. Now it's almost like it can't be that bad. You know what I mean? Something about it.
Yeah. And then you and Eddie started, for me being in clubs and being aware of this whole situation, I felt that you and Eddie kind of were, becoming stars. Obviously, the two of you, the famous Sinatra and Eddie doing Stevie Wonder as a dramatic actor, almost like it shocked the audience when he started singing. And then your Sinatra, I think I got my Phil Hartman, but I think it's right up there with anybody who's ever done it.
Yeah.
You're Frank.
You know, when they asked me to do the Frank Sinatra early on, and we were searching. We were searching. What are we doing? How do we keep going? And we had the pretty good guests would come on, and then he brought on like Jerry Lewis came on, which was great. And then he would book Don Rickles, and then Sid Caesar, and we went back and it was
holy shit, that's big.
It was like let's just get guys that can do this. And then, but early on, they said, Joe, we need the Frank Sinatra character. This was early on, and even during Gene's time, I said I can't do it because it's a respectful thing and I don't want to make fun of it. I did it in the clubs. I did it for my SNL audition. I said, I can't do it. And so I fought it. Then, and the way it goes, I wrote Mr. S a letter because I wanted to be a team player. I wrote Mr. Sinatra a letter and I said, this is done with respect. This is the whole Italian New Jersey thing, guys. That's what this is about.
Well, that's what I want to hear about because I'm from California. So this is like... It's not dangerous, but you don't want to hurt Frank because for someone from New Jersey at that time, it's Frank Sinatra. Right. You know, you don't mess with Frank and you love Frank.
That's right. Yeah. It's exactly. It's respect.
Yeah.
It's respect. And my father was an attorney, rest his soul. He said, if you're not going to be a lawyer, then you want to do entertainment, then look to Frank Sinatra because that's your role model. So here I am doing them. And then they asked me to do them in a satirical way. And I said, I can't, and because I'm telling you, it's hard to describe, but people, would understand. It's a North Jersey Italian American thing, and it's all about respect. And I told that to Mr. S. So I sent it to Mickey Rudin, his lawyer at the time, and I didn't hear anything back. I said, okay, let's do it, and we did it. But I always couched it. I always was respectful. Matter of fact, that Ebony and Ivory sketch was Barry and David Blaustita Sheffield. Eddie and I came up with the idea. We ripped it. They wrote it, and it was really kind of vicious and edgy. And I had to soften it just a little bit, even more. You know what I'm saying? So, and the old man, I heard Mr. S was watching that from the Waldorf and saw the sketch with his daughter, Tina and Nancy, and they said, and his daughter said, Joe, why don't you go in and surprise Joe on the air, which I would have had a coronary. But I had to tell you, the old man, when I got an invitation while I was at SNL. To go to a roast, to attend and be at the podium of a roast of Dean Martin, the master of ceremonies was Frank Sinatra. That was the approval, see. Oh. And when I met him, he could not have been nicer. From the whole time, I've been with him a few times. I was never on the inside of the Rat Pack, but he was always so respectful. Did
he say, maybe don't call me the old man? Maybe that's more offensive than the sketch.
He was 52 at the time, ladies and gentlemen.
He was 52. You're like, it's nice to meet an old person like yourself. He's like, hey. Ooh.
Yeah. No. But you know what? Everybody who was around Mr. S, all the guys would call him the old man, like the captain. That's like the admiral of the ship. And this is the story. So when he first saw me doing him, you guys even know Charlie Callis. Remember Charlie Callis? Of
course. He was like Jerry Lewis's sidekick on his talk show. He was Jerry Lewis, like another extended version, a crazy guy. Yeah. Yeah. Just to look him up.
David, you got to put that on stage now. Charlie Callis.
Someone told him to play it bigger, and he never looked back.
I tell you. So Callis opened for Mr. S. It was Atlantic City, 1980 something, and then they're in the dressing room at Caesars. Mr. S is about to do a second show, and they're in the dressing room about to step up to the stage. And in the dressing room on the TV, somebody had Saturday Night Live on, and I came on doing him. And it's the first time Mr. Sinatra saw me doing him, and the room grows silent. Ooh. Everybody goes, oh gosh, who's crazy enough? So Charlie Callis breaks the silence. He goes, what do you think, Captain? And Mr. S looks at me doing him, and he goes, hey, he's pretty good. The little prick. Like that.
It's the best answer.
What great line. But he didn't mind it. He got that it was respectful, and it was all
well,
good.
There was,
so, even to this day.
There at that Ebony and Ivory thing, it was kind of edgy because it was based on Paul McCartney, and it was about black and white getting together, all that stuff. And it was pretty edgy with Frank being the clueless, but
like the old Italian guy, the way they could be at that time.
You're black, I'm white, you're singing. But at the very last thing you had Frank say, which I wonder if you kind of was sort of sweet and landed it completely different. Who cares? Or what did Frank say at the end of that sketch?
God, I got to tell you, and if folks watch, everybody's watching your podcast now, guys. I got to tell you, that means so much to me. What you just said, Dana, what you just said, because you do things on the air. You do things on the air, and sometimes someone picks it up. Thank you for that.
No, it was.
I said, "Who cares, baby?"
Yeah, that changed the whole
baby?
Sketch, and it changed the whole vibe of Sinatra. He can do this and that, and we all know that he was a champion for Sammy, and he wouldn't, he was completely not that character.
Yeah.
So that was nice at the end. It really made it a great.
Thank you for thinking of that. Social justice warrior he was. I mean, just because folks don't understand, when Mr. F went to Vegas. And he was playing the main room, and he was playing with the Count Basie Orchestra, which was an all-black orchestra. He had Quincy Jones arranging for him and conducting for him. And then and Sammy would come on, and they were staying on the other side of town. And Mr. S said, "What is that? What are you going?" He had lunch with Sammy. "Where are you guys staying? Where are you guys?" He goes, they wouldn't allow the performer to walk in to the front. People forget. And Mr. S said, boldly, goes, "Look, if they don't come in and you treat them exactly like you're treating me, then I'm not going on." And he really stood fast to that.
There's a brilliant documentary on Sammy Davis Jr. It speaks a lot to how Frank was like, "If you don't treat him like you treat me, I'm out of here. I'm doing you, doing him, whatever." But that's a fascinating part. So curious about that cast. Now, you and Eddie, and then what was the cast that came in with you? I just because it was Brad Hall and Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Right?
But that was, what they had when we first went in. We had it was mostly Timmy Kazurinsky and Mary Gross, and then we had a guy. I think Tony Rosado joined us for a little while. Yes. There was some other folks from Toronto. Robin Duke is brilliant.
Yes,
Robin Duke is brilliant. She was just brilliant and wonderful, and Mary as well. But Robin and I, we did the Whiners together. We could riff, and she she's one of Toronto's second city.
She's great. She's great, and the Whiners was one of your reoccurring characters. That the audience would start to applaud when you guys appeared.
Yeah. Well, I always said if Warren was producing, it would have been a movie. They could have.
It'll be called The Whiners. We'll do it at Paramount. It'll be a 40-day
3 sketches into one movie.
Eddie will do a cameo, and we go in June. Really? Now let's eat. But you also had Jim Belushi as well. Was in that era. So
Jimmy came in later, and it was great, and a great actor, and it was just great. But then they say we're bringing in Brad Hall, Gary Kroger,
yes,
and we're bringing in Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Now, they were 3 young kids, and they could not have been more pleasant, more fun, more talented. They were great. But to this day, I feel guilty because it really was Eddie and I kind of hunkered down and write for ourselves. And if you didn't write for yourself back in the day, I guess it was pretty much with you guys. Yeah, you just didn't get on.
You figured it out pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No one's really looking out for you. Yeah.
That's right. It's just like that. And I always felt bad that I should have helped. I mean, it doesn't make any difference now, but like Julia was so sweet and nice and great. She was 19 at the time, and she was great. And I always felt we should have probably got her into the sketches more, but I don't think she needed our help when you look
I know
back.
What did she do after SNL? I mean,
disappeared.
What has she really done? No, hopefully we'll have her on as a guest too, and
But it's also a luck factor. Like some sketch falls in your lap, or someone writes you something good, or you blow up on something. Dana got is Wayne's World, and that thing blows up. He doesn't know for sure that's going to blow. And so. Yeah. You're in different things. Some things you really think are going to work, they don't. Something else blows up. I think it's hard though if you don't write for yourself for your own moves. Like you have to show them. Like I go, I'm funny, and they go, they don't know. Like,
oh yeah,
they're busy. You show them you can do something even around the office, and you do an impression or anything, and they go, we should put that in something, and then you go, okay, good. That's you need to help them a little.
It's like
bit
so you and Eddie integrated with writers. So you would instigate. This is stuff I do at the club, Eddie. And then you had a couple writers who were like hungry for that, because when it works that way, and your rhythms, your sensibility is already enveloped into the sketch, and then they hopefully improve it. So
yeah, but I get, and Eddie is,
force of nature.
He's an absolute. He is a force of nature, but he's a comic genius, and it's effortless and it's instinctive. So we would be there. We'd be in the producer's office, one of the producer's office, and he was watching Mr. Rogers, you know, and he goes, no, I'm gonna do a street version of this. And I look at him, he goes, I'm gonna be Mr. Robinson, and I'm gonna be, and he would come up with the concept, and he would just, and I remember one writer going, I don't know if that's gonna work, and he would say, I'm doing it. Then he would say to me, I'm going to do buckwheat. And I go, I'm sorry, Eddie. He goes, no, I'll do buckwheat. Remember buckwheat for the Little Rascals? And I would go, and I was like his older brother, because I had him by almost about 10 years. And I would say, Ed, it might be a little racist. You might want to just maybe not do that, you know? Mm-hmm. Bang. He didn't care. He went for it. And it was, I have to tell you, the joy of it, to be next to it, you know, to experience it, especially to be live, I don't believe we had a delay back then. And to be next to Eddie, whether we were doing Ebony and Ivory, whether I was watching him doing buckwheat, or whether we would do, my favorite thing, we would do a Solomon and Pudge, the two old guys in the bar, which was kind of a bittersweet thing that was just a fill. It was meant to do a fill because they needed time right before 1 o'clock. And they would say, Eddie, Joe, just go up and do something. And Eddie and I just riff. That it was magic moments that I cherish forever. It was, and I told Eddie this when they gave him the Mark Twain Prize down there in Washington. And Chappelle was there, and Arsenio was there, and Georgie Lopez was there, and it was like the, you know, except for me, it was like the Mount Rushmore of comedy, you know, and everybody's going before we're supposed to speak, you know, to Eddie at the Smithsonian the night before the event. What are we going to say? And I remember Chappelle going, "How do you be funny? What can I do?" I said, "Guys, just speak from the heart, man. Just speak from the heart." And that's why when I got up, I said, Eddie, thank you for a great ride. Thank you for a ride of a lifetime. And it resonated, and we all had tears in our eyes. It was a beautiful thing. Out of comedy, you know, it's a lot of heart. People may see us trying to be funny or silly or, you know, or outrageous, but I think we got a lot of heart and probably feel more than most, you know, guys.
Well, and also state the obvious, and it comes up a lot on this podcast, just Rockefeller Center, 17th floor, live television in New York City. Me being from California, there's no more viscerally intense thing you can do in show business. And everyone even moves on to movies or whatever they do. There still is just that. And we were talking to Eric Andre the other day, and he was like, how did you deal with the pressure? I mean, did you get more comfortable? Did you just feel good when you're out there with Eddie? Like, we're going to kick ass because you've got.
Yeah. Great observation, Dave. It's exactly right. I was petrified the whole time. And I petrified, and I just was always worried. And as a matter of fact, the writers would always bust my chops because I was always so uptight on that's got to be perfect before the show. I would say everybody be getting ready right after the rehearsal. You know, after shooting, you know, rehearsing, it's like 9:30 and it's over, and we go over the notes. I'd run down under the bleachers, and I would go to Al, the cue card guy. I would go to Kevin, the cue card guy, and I would just go, let me see the cards. Which was real. What a pain in the neck, Piscopo. I mean, really? But they did.
No, I've done that.
They ran. You know what I'm saying, David?
Yeah, you practice because you don't know where the sentence ends, and you're like, I want to get ready for exactly what it will be. So if that looks a little weird, I want to say that now, and then maybe they can tweak it, and then you go, ooh, could you go a little faster? Anything where you just go, it'll help.
That's
whatever.
Smart.
It's so scary. Do anything you can. Yeah, I agree with you.
We were live. No safety net. It was no safety net. I wanted to be perfect every single time. But I think working with Eddie, Timmy Kazurinsky as well, and that they were loose. When you're loose and you can have fun like that on stage, it was gold. It was just gold like that. That's where I relaxed. In the arena, right in the belly of the beast, right live. We had, I mean, look, think of the numbers when we were on, guys. I mean, you know, was it 8 million? Was it 20 million? It wasn't the 30 million they had, you know, originally, but there were a lot.
Still very, very big. Yeah.
Yeah. No cable.
Dana, I worked with, I knew Tim Kazurinsky a little bit because we did something after that. He's a Chicago guy. And I worked with him after that, and he was super cool, dude. I remember I had a great time with him, and we didn't even talk that much about SNL. Oh, I wasn't on it yet. That's why I did it before that. Yeah.
Wow. But Timmy brought us all together. Timmy was like, he was the liaison between the producer, because they would say things and we would, you know, through animosity comes creativity. So, you know, so if what do you mean? And then the worst was for me when they said, okay, all right, we want you to do this sketch. And you didn't want to do the sketch, man. You just knew it wasn't going to work, but you had to do the sketch. And then you're waiting. And then and then you do your dress rehearsal, and then you wait, and you're in that. I just remember being crammed in. 9:30 is coming to 10 o'clock. Oh my gosh, we're live in an hour and a half. And somebody said, "Oh, the sketch is in. That bad sketch that you're hitting." That was tough.
You got to go sell it. I have a question. Joe, did you have, let's say you write the whiners or you write a first draft that gets through read through. Do you have a Thursday read through? A rewrite day? We had a 16-hour rewrite day. You go through every sketch, or did you just go off whoever wrote it rewrites it?
Whoever wrote it rewrites it. That's great. But there were notes. There were notes.
Okay.
But then whoever wrote it rewrote. Whoever wrote it, if they had to rewrite, it was them. It was their piece.
Right. Because sometimes when you gangbang it like that on a Thursday, it gets a little better because you've got everyone around the table giving you their best joke for that, and you pick, and then you do it. That's the way we did it when I was there. Right, Dana?
Work on it. With you.
Yeah, it's Conan O'Brien and Bob Odenkirk,
sitting around a table
Jack
where
Handy,
everyone's trying to play off each other.
Yeah, but
great writers.
You know what? I love that. I wish we had it. So because we didn't know what to do when we first went in, and now we're all there, and the new cast is together, and we went in the back that back writing area, and then Dick Ebersol said, "All right, I'm bringing back Michael O'Donoghue," and he was like a legend,
famous writer from the original cast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'd love the play-by-play you're doing, Dana.
I just try to set the table. I'm just thinking the person who doesn't know anything about this part of SNL. And also your era is like a missing link for us. I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. Well, we're sitting there now, and now Michael O'Donoghue's coming in. Oh my gosh. So now, and he was so theatrical and great. So we all waiting there. He makes an entrance. And he's got a spray paint can in his hand. And he walks in, doesn't say a word, and he shakes it, and you can hear it shaking. And on the wall of the writer's wing, he wrote DANGE, or danger. And he went, show. And he went like that. That's what the show lacks. And that's what we're going to do. Like that, I went, whoa, man. So then he would call us in. He would call us in. And I'll tell you, these guys from that era were, and I mean this in the most respectful way, they were like off the charts crazy like that, And Michael was like, so listen, guys, he sits me in the office. Now I'm new, and I don't even want to be there because I've ruined the show so far. I don't want to continue with the show. O'Donoghue goes like this. Listen, he's there, and he goes like this. Piscopo, just he and I in the office, one-on-one, in one of those little producer's office. He goes, I don't get you. I don't think you're funny. I don't get it. Like that. And I'm going like, okay, well, I'll leave now. Do you want me to go now? Like that? And then I didn't confront him. I said, Michael, I agree with you. I don't think I belong here either. And I'm honored to see you, man. And he goes like, then he softens up and he goes like this. Well, that Sinatra thing's pretty good. I like that Sinatra thing that you do. He goes like that. And through all that adversity, that angst, that blood, sweat, and tears, it all worked out. By the way, and again, if I can, it's again, stop me, but John Belushi was, when he was like people don't understand, he was a comedy god. He was a god, man. It was like, and to me, Aykroyd was my guy. Danny, to this day, I have such immense love and respect for it, because Danny really was, he was the captain of that ship, I thought. But John was so great. So we did the shows, we start to catch on a little bit, and then John would come back and hang a little bit, and Danny Aykroyd came in. And these, to me, man, I was in the comedy. It was Aykroyd and Belushi, man, and the Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers.
So then, just Kissinger and Nixon, pray for me, Henry. Remember that?
He played Nixon with a mustache.
Exactly. And Danny was the epitome of how to execute a character. So then they go, okay, we're going to an after party at Joe and Episcopo. They go, Episcopo, you're going to after party. We want you to go with us. So we went down to what was the precursor to the House of Blues. It was a hole in the wall. I don't know if you I don't think it was there when you guys went in, but it was like in the Village, and it was just a dive, and everybody was there. Gilda was there. Alan Zweibel was there. It was everybody.
It's a Bennigan's now.
Yeah. And I'm going like, oh my gosh. And then Belushi comes over to me, at just one-on-one, and he goes, Piscopo, and he goes, come here. So he walks me over to the jukebox, and there's a big jukebox there. And he takes a quarter out of his pocket back in the day. He puts it in the jukebox, and he punches up Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. And he starts to sing it. And I'm doing dueling Sinatras with John Belushi at a bar in Greenwich Village. And it was those are the things that happen. Mm-hmm. And we're singing Brandon News. And then to note, it became a moment at the party, and everybody came around. Wow, look at John's with Piscopo. Look at this. And as soon as that happened, it became a moment. I saw John, and he just shied away. He shrunk away and got out of it. All he wanted was a moment. And I felt bad. And I understood that when you think people want to be famous, I want to be famous, it was not easy. And I saw a lot in Eddie, too. When you got that big, it just wasn't easy. But I always appreciated that. Again, and it was the greatness, the humor of John Belushi, the boldness of John Belushi. But I tell you, he had a big heart. He had a big heart, and I saw it right there in that moment.
How lucky. Very, very what a great, you got Eddie, you got Belushi, Aykroyd's out there, the fucking heyday of it all. Jesus.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Anything, Am I allowed to ask a question? Yeah, we have no structure. We don't know what we're doing.
David, tell me about, if I may. I would be at. I went to St. Mulliky's when I was on Broadway, and I was across the street with St. Mulliky's, and then they would tell me Chris Farley was always there at St. Mulliky.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And then I'm in Beverly Hills, and I'm out there, and I'm at church, and more than once. And I forget if it was a Saturday night mass, and there's Chris Farley taking communion, walking like he just had partied all night. And we saw each other. Went, whoa! I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I wish I wanted to talk to him.
Oh,
I didn't
wish
want to
you
bother
did.
him.
No,
I know.
no. He would love it.
He would have loved
his face.
Old SNL to talk.
He was
about SNL
had a lot. It was completely a full on Catholic, and I mean, David knows so much better than I did. But yeah, he went to church all the time, right, David?
Yeah, it was all night Saturday, rap party, straight to church, and then and back to zero. He says, "I'm back to zero." Like he go in there and confess and do all the things he did, and he goes, 5 Hail Marys later, I'm back to zero. I'm all good, going to heaven again. I go, all right, well, let's ruin it again this week.
Yeah.
He was very into it, and I think he would have really respected and loved to see anyone from SNL, especially you, did so much.
Oh yeah, he would at his young age. Yeah, he would have been all up in your cast for sure, and you and Eddie. Yeah.
And listen, it's fun for me and Dana because having you on and just hearing this stuff, it brings it all back. And we're lucky to work with who we worked with, and then you got to work with people, and you're part of it all. So we heard of your names while we were there. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
You just hear about the cast before you.
And I'm seeing you killing on SNL, doing characters and doing what I want to do, before I was lucky enough to get there.
Well, and you know what, David, I remember we were in Hollywood somewhere or Los Angeles somewhere, and I was with my son years ago, and it was a sushi place, great sushi place, right from the Beverly Center. And you walked in, I said hi, and you were very nice and very respectful. You appreciate that. And my son was, of course, great to see, the great David Spade. No, it was great. And then I remember this. I don't know why I remember this, but I told Dana this the other night, David. When I was in the makeup chair, had to be rehearsal, or we were doing a pre-shoot or something. And I looked in the mirror, and a kid stuck his head in and went, Joe, hey, I'm a big fan. My name's Dana Carvey. Well, I don't know why I remember that. So that was before. Dana, you were doing a series, you said? You were doing a sitcom.
I had a little deal with NBC. Yeah. I got cast on a show called One of the Boys. Mickey Rooney was the star. Nathan Lane was the co-star. All of a sudden, I'm living in New York in 1981, and I'm shooting this sitcom on the 6th floor. And of course, I was possessed by SNL, and I did go up on Thursday a couple times in the bleachers, watch you guys running stuff. And then we had the same makeup artist. He would do your makeup on Saturday night, or was at least working Saturday nights. And I would do my Andy Rooney and do certain impressions. He goes, "You got to tell Andy Joe." Rooney. But I thought I did an Andy Rooney, did it better or something. But I remember finding you somewhere, or Joe Piscopo's down this hallway. It's like a big labyrinth. Hi, I'm Dana Carvey. I must have been really nervous because I was on
ballsy Dana.
I was on this sitcom. It was a death knell. I mean, talk about it. We're driving this Scatman Carruthers stoned all day. Mickey with a 38 throwing it around the room. A revolver. They're not going to get me. Yeah. So I was in a madhouse, and 72 months later, I got...
You're like, hey, Joe, we're both in SAG. I wanted to say...
But anyone who does this, or anyone who's been to Saturday Night Live, Tracy Morgan he says, "Hey, alum, we're all alums because what is there 160 of us, and it's almost 50 years that experience the pressure and whatever the Fleeny ass madness of this. There's a horse, there's people juggling. Now I'm throw a wig on me and push me out there." So.
Well, we appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for taking some time out for us, and love chatting with you.
Yeah, listen, with great respect and great love, guys.
Joe, you paint great pictures. You're a great storyteller. This was really fun. Yes. And thanks for filling out.
We'll see you out there.
See you around campus. Okay, buddy.
God bless. God bless.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. Okay, so we've got Joel McHale. Joel McHale, a nice chat with Joel.
Joel McHale. I did a pilot once a little while back, and Joel McHale was in it with Ken Jeong, who are really good friends, like best friends.
Oh, yeah.
I just think for best friends forever.
I know anyway, Ken Jeong, sure.
We all know Joel. We all know Ken. Joel's a great stand-up. We see him at the Comedy Store.
We talk about Community, this show Community he did forever. He did we talk, of course, ask about Chevy Chase because that ties into us a little bit. And good stories. Guy's got good stories. And he also likes international scouts. Do you know that, Dana? Because where I get my Land Cruiser done,
right?
He buys up a lot of scouts, and they're all old ones and very cool ones.
And he was one of the first. He did a show where you make fun of videos.
Oh, Talk Soup.
And Talk Soup.
Yeah, it's great.
And what's kind of interesting, without giving it away, I'll talk about he had a little bit of dyslexia, and he was reading teleprompters and the struggle and the challenge of that. Right. But that show is huge and went on for years. And he now has a new show,
Animal Control. And it's I think it's just started its third season, and it's I just read a really nice thing about it in the paper. So Animal Control, you know him for sure when you see him. And we had a nice chat. So let's listen up. Enough about us.
Pretty exciting. That beard is rocking,
Look at his fucking cool hair, too. I hate this guy already.
Look at all the transplants, guys. This can be yours. Literally.
No, it cannot. That's too good.
You got to have some donors if you're going to go.
God
no, that is fucking Trini Lopez, early Tom Jones.
Who are your hair donors? Charo?
When the Russian Olympic doping thing hit, I was able to reap the benefits because they had all this extra tranquilizer sitting around, guys. But Parso Bohibi, he's in Sherman Oaks. He's a wizard. This is my great grandfather. That's would have been me.
He's showing a picture of a goddamn
cue really?
Ball.
A cue ball.
Might as well be George Costanza.
And you're like, well, who has the greatest hair in Hollywood? I think it was, what did Rob Lowe say?
Now.
Rob Lowe said Richard Gere, I think, in the history of Hollywood.
Joel McHale.
I think it's Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Keanu's
Bridges. Yeah.
Can I make my face redder?
That's just the Tito's wearing off.
Everyone says on the YouTube comments, "Hey, Spade, rough night." I'm like, no, this is just it, guys. They're like, geez, what a disaster.
Well, it's Northern European. You get a little rosacea as you get
I don't
older.
think I'm red, Heather. Am I in real life? My fucking dad was kind of red, but he was such a goddamn drunk.
Yeah, but you're still at this age. Like if we all went back to our high school reunions, just an impromptu high school reunion, we'd all be like, "Oh, we're doing great."
Yeah, you're right. Me and my buddies from high school don't look so fucking tragic. So we see. By the way, when I was and back in Arizona, Sir Joel and these two old dudes walked up to us. And I'm like, oh, look at these broken down motherfuckers. And they go, hey, we were a year under you guys in high school at Saguaro. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Wait, we're all around the same? Oh, my God.
Well, they also were sitting in the Arizona sun, right? They were
Everyone lays out every day. Yeah. No sunscreen. That's for girly men.
I talked to a guy at an event in the recent past for about 20 minutes and had no idea who he was. He's in show business, but he quietly put on 50. And he became, I don't know why it's always quiet, but it was unrecognizable. And then someone told me later, and you kids out there can guess who it was, but it was not Joel or Ken, his best friend, Ken Young.
Who was it? Let me guess. No.
Yeah, I like where's who was? Let's do it.
We'll save it. No, I can't because it would be mean to the person.
I saw a guy that loudly put
but
on.
But I think Martin Sheen got over it in a second. No, it was not Martin Sheen.
It wasn't Ken Jeong. He's on.
No.
He was born on Ozempic.
That guy's fit. He can still high jump over 6 feet.
Yeah. No. Do you guys know who Nathan Fillion is?
Yeah.
Extremely handsome man from Edmonton. And he continues to look great. But he, like when starting around like late 30s, 40s, he did put on 50 pounds easily. Quietly. Still looked great.
Oh, really?
And then he lost it all. I don't know how he did it, but he lost it all. And everyone's like, you look great. And he literally was like, if you just carry an extra 50 for a decade, and you lose it, then you get this new blank check to look great. Because everyone's like, hey, and I was like, oh, you could just hang in there for that 10 years.
That guy pulls wool, even when he's 50 plus over.
Yeah. No, you come in a boozed up alcoholic at the 40th anniversary, and then for the 50th, you just go clean for a decade.
Yeah.
And you got all the
Nate Bargatze says he just tells people, even though he's kind of fat, he goes, I just tell people I lost 300 pounds, and they go, holy shit, you look great.
Nate Bargatze's not fat.
But he says to people, so they go, oh, wow. Well, now this is pretty good for you. And he's like,
I saw Def Leppard play. Yes.
So did we.
Thank you. This is 10. They opened for Kiss at the Forum. And I know. I felt, I was like, I feel like
that's the story.
That's a pick'em. We got to interview Joe Elliott for an hour. What a kick in the pants that guy.
Well,
what were you saying?
One of them, someone was like, well, Def Leppard, they're on this comeback because one of them had cancer. And and you get up there and then you start watching them. I was like, which one has cancer? And there was like the three of them were bloated and bad hair dye. They're all like, they're just like, bleh. And then the guy with cancer, just skinny and short hair, just like full of energy. They're like, he's doing great now. And I was like, oh, wow, that really shows you.
I think it's sad when there's like a quartet of singers or whatever, and then they eventually one by one pass away. I was in Vegas once, and ladies and gentlemen, The Platter. And it was like such a bring down.
I saw
that's an old joke.
Fleetwood Mac when it was down to Stevie Nicks, two guys from Los Lobos, and a contest.
And the name is
it was
the Beach Boy.
Just Josie and
and some friends.
I remember in Seattle. It's at Steppenwolf, no original members, and I thought, what happened?
What's going on?
What is the point? Well, then it's what do you call it? A tribute band. It's that point, right?
It's really just a cover band, which is kind of good. I saw Led Zeppelin again, or one of these, and the cover bands where I didn't think it was really Led Zeppelin, but I said, okay, at least I'll just go hear the Led Zeppelin song, second one, a cover band, right? And they were like, here's one that no one knows. I don't even think Robert Plant remembers. I'm like, no. Guys, here's the deal. I want to know every motherfucking... And then they weren't doing hits. They go, we're not here to do the Zeppelin hits. I go, okay, I think you don't understand what's going on. I paid $3, and what I want...
$3 at the Vaseline Room in Reno or something?
I think it was at Sharky's, that place.
I like a tribute band that's like, we're not playing the hits.
Yeah. What is your only job?
And you're not playing to a crowd.
We're going to play a new song. Wow.
No, it was a Canyon Club, Joel. Do you know what Canyon Club is in the Valley?
Yes.
Oh God, not a great gig.
Actually, I've played Canyon Club, so I can't.
I played it. That's why I'm saying I didn't.
I saw Foreigner there.
I bet it was great.
It was actually 3-er because one guy didn't show up. Yeah.
My friend,
because the joke's so bad, you go like this.
Oh no, my friend Boyd saw Rick Springfield there, and he said Rick Springfield walked out and said, "Fuck you, I'm 75," and then just went right into Jesse's girl.
That's the best opening ever. Let me do a quick Dennis Miller. This is 20 seconds per this topic. Playing a casino in San Bernardino. And, in the casinos, they're all in the bar for the longest time. Then they come in. So we came out like 2 minutes before we go on. It's 1,000 seats, not one person sitting there. And Dennis goes, Christ sakes, Carvey, did we just turn into Three Dog Night over here? Sorry, I just wanted to share that with Joel because I knew he would chuckle.
That you actually taught me, Dana, years ago. You were like, yeah, you ever go to those gigs where you haven't done stand-up in a while, and then you just go into your act, and you're barely holding onto the roller coaster as it's going. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Someone else has done it.
The more famous you get, your stand-up gets shitty for a while. Like probably when you're full-time on Community, you're doing less reps, and then your price is going up and up, right?
Yeah, they get a lot of. It's a lot of talk about greatest hits.
Yeah.
Well, we know the old days, Joel, where you're not that old, but
yeah, I'm old.
When Dana was. Headlining.
You could still get carded if you do a little Grecian right there.
I was out there with some
Spade.
guys that were just doing the same 45, not even an hour, just the same 45 on the dot. Then I'd see them a year later, same 45, 3 years later. Because they just had mailing lists and stuff. There was no TikTok or YouTube or not that many specials at all, right? There's only a couple.
Do you ever get like, as you said, like the bands come out, they play all their hits, and that's what everyone wants to hear. And I'm like, but I don't think comics can do that.
I know. I do a mixture usually because some people go, oh, you didn't do the one joke of yours I like.
Yeah.
I am very close to doing a one-man show where I do quick change. Church lady, Hans.
Oh, yeah. You go Garth. You kill it.
I do that like Ed Sullivan. The person goes behind the
partition,
the panel, and then comes out as a totally new character in like 1 second.
You've reached you both are reached that legend status, so you can
bring me in there.
Thank you.
But you should then like do 3 characters that everybody knows, and then throw in a character that you'd be like, and this one was from SNL's 1986 special, and then just be a character that you've never done before, and be like
deep cuts, and it's like this got to read through, and that was it. He's got that animal control thing in the back.
Animal
corner.
Control shows don't get 3rd seasons anymore.
What the fuck?
Well, this is a fucking hit in 2024. A 3rd season.
I always say, we've done 30 total episodes, which in the old days,
that's a new world. Yeah,
in the old days, that's 1 season.
Yeah. So hey, divide up the pie however you like. That's great.
Let's call it.
When we did Rules of Engagement, Dana, at the end, it was always 22 episodes, and the way we whined about it was because you can always find a way to grouse in the set. Is first season of Rules of Engagement, we did 22, and we debuted huge, and then there was a fucking strike, and we came back and we never got the momentum. Our fault, I guess.
Damn those workers!
It was only 13 pickups,
and I did 13.
And your whole year is over because you can't do anything. You can't book anything else. You can't get a new show. And you just wait. And on May, they go, we might bring you back. And if we do, it'll be for a measly 13. We'd do less if we could. And I'm like, God dang. The second we got to 100 episodes, they fired us that day. They're like, that's all we need. Bye.
Joel, who are you following? What's the show?
How are you? What is this magic?
Who am I following? Oh, I thought you meant like in my political life. The Proud Boys. No.
Yeah.
You had me. I was like,
they have a great TikTok.
Who
are you on? What night are you on, and what time coming up?
We're on. I think we're on. It's January 2nd. As hangovers are just being cured.
A perfect day.
Yeah, it's I think that's a Thursday after Hell's Kitchen or Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay, who's always ratings gold. And then Dennis Leary has a new comedy that is on after us.
I know all about it.
Really?
Yeah.
They're pairing. Oh, what is his show? Because
I'll
write it down.
It's
called
Dutch.
What's the one?
It's called. Nope. I'm getting there.
Really great. Not get me to
telling you, Going Dutch.
Going Dutch. Yes, it's about an army base in Europe that is only for supplies. And so they're like the great distributor to all the bases. So there's no action at all. And Danny Pudi is in it from Community.
That's what it says, yeah.
And the family is slowly coming back. So we're very lucky because Fox is hung in, you hear all these stuff, but they hung in there with the show. And not compared to Community, but like on Community, but we were always on the bubble, and Fox, like, they like the show. They're like, we're hanging in there. And now it's slowly built up on Hulu, and they've taken their time. So they did the thing that old comedies used to do, where they would take care of it and nurture it and water it. And so it's gotten better, and it's really enjoyable.
It's nice they do what they say, because not all these networks, they can tell you it's great until the day they chop your head off and you go, oh. But it's just a biz. But I think they add in Hulu. There's some reason you're doing well. They calculate everything together, some metric, something means it's working.
AI.
It is.
Analyze.
It's interesting that not to get nuts, but they like how Netflix, like Friends and The Office, those are, and Suits of all, they're all, and same thing with Community. We didn't become a hit until after streamers came out. And and these shows have 100 or 150 episodes, and people see them like comfort food.
And you were NBC, and how many episodes?
We were NBC. We were canceled after our 4th season, and then brought back on Yahoo Screen. What's that? It was a short-lived streaming service that Yahoo.
That's a calculator.
Yeah, it went from the biggest
your calculator app,
biggest website to weather, and to just a little weather app after. But they literally blamed us for the downfall of Yahoo Screen, which I'm like, I brought down a streamer, and then that was it after 6 seasons. So we did like 130.
So you had 130 to sell.
It kind of, I don't know the word cult, but it has legs. I mean, because I don't think anything kind of like Community. It was unique,
Yeah.
Just its vibe and the way it was written and the people in it. So it's kind of cool that it lives on. And
yeah, Dan Harmon is a freaking true genius. And I think, David, you probably know him. I would think.
I know him a little bit, and
I know him. I did a thing with him for, I think, National Geographic Channel, where I played JFK or something. I can't remember. It was shot all over at that studio.
Sounds fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. He's very, very smart.
Joel, are these Chevy stories? We had him on the show. Is it more rumor, or was he a bit of a pickle?
And how I put it this way too. I want to think. How did you think about Chevy during the show, and now how do you think about Chevy now?
Oh, well, I've never answered any questions about him, so this is.
I like it.
This is
this is SNL related, so it's a little.
I can start with my theory, because we had him on, and I kind of figured him out right before we came on, and then it kind of made sense to me that he has an impulse to say the thing you're not supposed to say, even if it goes territory that you cannot even comprehend he's going there. But he has an impulse to do that. So right before he came on our show, he was at David's house. I just sort of went with it, and he would do all this shock stuff, and I just started finding it so funny because I saw what he was doing.
If you're not ready, but
if you don't get defensive, it's like a swing and a miss. If someone just laughs,
all that. I would agree with everything on that plane.
Okay,
and then,
but you worked with him a lot more than I.
But like at 6 a.m, as we're all stumbling in there, hoping to make our 15-hour day, I guess this is a separate thing, but he didn't want to be there for that long. Like it was those hours and that work was too much for the man. He didn't want to be there, and so we would have to find a way to shoot him out. And I'm not, Chevy, if you're listening or watching, I don't think you would disagree with any of this. And the man had a lot going on all the time, and he could definitely be disruptive, and he definitely didn't like it when some people were funnier, and he kind of lose his mind a little bit. And then, he was fired from the show famously. And everyone was like, I feel, he's everything. When he was good, it was magic, and he's so good. And if we watch those first few seasons, he's so funny. But the guy was his own self-sabotager all the time, and he would always be disruptive and all that stuff. So I think in doses, like you're saying, like if he's throwing out, he also always had to find, if things were going well, he would find a way to slow that down.
Right.
He would throw some wrench in, and so the guy, his reputation precedes him, and I haven't spoke to him since the show ended, but I did play him in a movie, and I guess I called him to tell him that. I'm sure he's that. Yeah, there's that.
That's weird. You played Chevy in a movie after Community.
Yeah, very strange. Just someone who does a lot of arms workouts. He's always been, he was always the focus of attention whenever he was in the room.
All those picadillos or ticks, whatever you want to call them, we've worked with people in show business where it can be cute and funny, but then if it's actually part of a job, it's a completely different idea. When something, forget Chevy, just if anybody is actively just being difficult.
Well, if you don't love coming to work, that's hard. If you get nervous at work, you're going, someone's coming in today and it's going to be tough. And you're like, these days are so hard anyway, and no one believes it. But if you're in it and you're up at 6 and leaving at 8:30 at night, you're like, we have no life. Just get your
single
lines
camera,
memorized.
a half hour. I mean, that's a workload.
And we shot those shows like they were movies. They weren't shot in a documentary style thing. So none of it was that the loose. It was all cinematic, and we shot those like paintball things and all those kind of epic looking things for half hour. And we knew Chevy had obviously dealt with things like that before because he was a gigantic movie star.
Yeah.
All through the 80s, but he had, and then there'd be other times when we physically push each other around, so that also happened. And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to try to fight you. I mean, I think you're probably I thought. You don't want
one of the strongest guys in Hollywood. I don't know.
Don't. Yeah, it all. When we look back on it, I'm like, what? That was just mayhem as we were trying to, get this shit made.
Just do a cute show.
Yeah, and then I have that thing of like people like, there's that thing because during the time it was during the times when you didn't say anything, where it was like, just keep doing what you're doing because it's working, and we didn't want to rock the boat. And
for sure.
So we kind of, I remember multiple people above us going, and he's all ours. And, and the show was working. So it was, you
don't want them to say, let's get rid of the show.
We feel the stress is coming over the.
I was like, I don't know if I talk to him again, I'm sure he'd be like, fuck you. So I'm like, all right, great. But he'd probably say that anyway, even if he was in love.
He might surprise you. I don't know. But yeah, that's I've had experiences like that, Mickey Rooney. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, Mickey Rooney. But God rest his soul. But yeah, he was
putting it in the Mickey Rooney sort of analogy.
I love any podcast that mentions Mickey Rooney. Go ahead.
He's so happy right now that his name got mentioned.
Mickey Rooney, number one star in the world, right? Legitimately.
Yeah.
Chevy, Time Magazine, funniest man in America, and then movie after movie after movie. tall, great looking. Goldie Hawn said when I saw him, I was like, this is a formidable person. He comes in and at some point he's got to feel like I'm on a sitcom or I'm on whatever. And and everyone's getting laughs around him. And usually they would write that out. You know, they would just be like, I'm the guy that scores and then here's the movie around me. Everyone can be okay. And so there's something to that. I remember George Segal. I would think that with George Segal when I was on Just Shoot Me because he's so great. And one time he goes, "You little fuck, I used to work with Elizabeth Taylor." I go, "I know, dude. This is."
No, he was huge.
We would laugh about it because,
70s.
And he would yell it to the audience. He'd point to me and go, "I used to work with Elizabeth Taylor. Now I work with this fucking asshole." But we had a great time.
But don't you think that like you?
He loved it. He was happy about it. He was happy.
Right. Is that they didn't realize that when everybody's funny, that makes everything funny. And that makes the whole thing better. And rarely, like on a show, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some example of some super funny show. 8 is enough, let's say. No. Right. Where they go, oh, everyone was funny on that show except for that one guy. It's like, no. The whole... Because everyone was scoring, everyone
we need a straight man for this man. Everyone's valuable. And George said, like we had all done. Just Shoot Me wasn't a magnanimous hit, but it stayed on for 7 years. And we would all. I think what happened, we all had downtime where it wasn't working for a little bit. So we all were like, "Hey, we're all lucky to be here." So it was a lot less fighting. I can't remember any because we thought we know what it's like when it doesn't work. It's not all given. You know, if you're on Friends and it's your first show you get and you're a superstar, a worldwide star, you can't even imagine what if I did a show that didn't work. You can't imagine what it's like to just get pilots canceled. So when you've had ups and downs and something works, you go, oh, we are lucky. Let's do not mess this up.
Yeah.
And that's probably what you were doing.
But it sounds like there was nobody on Just Shoot Me that was disruptive.
Right. I'm saying is that you had that. And so you don't want to mess the show up. So you're probably not telling everybody like, hey, we got to get rid of this. What can we do? Because they might say, this whole show is a problem. Let's just get rid of it. And you're like, no, I like it. I want to be here.
Do you think that when Chevy came through with Community, like how much has changed now with live streaming shows? Because you'll just see full-blown movie stars, except Tom Cruise, who's one of my favorites, doing a live streaming series. And it's completely
blurry line.
Accepted. It's not like, oh, what happened to his movie career?
There's more of those than
watching
movies.
Live.
Yeah. I mean, that's also why, like, when Snoop and Jamie Foxx and Dwayne Johnson and Ellen all did game shows, and that blew away the, oh, you don't have to, there's not a tie, like you're in that lane now. It's just all the lanes blurred. And then, then the streamers had all the money, and like, Squid Games, or Squid Game, if like no one cared, they're like, "Oh, it's just great." And I was like, if you told an executive 5 years ago that a foreign language murder game show drama and Kevin Costner would be the biggest things on TV, they'd be like, Kevin Costner in a Western? I don't think so. That's not going to be a hit. That Westerns are dead. It's all science fiction. Oh, and people are not going to read subtitles. Forget it. And then the biggest things on the planet.
That's part of the fun is that no one can't figure out showbiz. That's it's part of the crazy lottery. It's like you go, I could make it overnight. You just don't know. It could be in a show that blows up.
There's 5 billion bits of digital information to watch right now. Globally between YouTube and then all the rest. So it's 5 billion. So I'm just saying it's different. That's my point. My thesis is that show business changed. You can do commercials. You can talk about your brand and being in the marketplace with your brand. Everyone can do commercials. Everyone can do anything.
Yeah, really
Everyone
anything.
can do Masked Singer. Huge hit. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Which you've been on.
Yes.
Ken.
Well, yeah. Ken caught, once again, those guys caught lightning in a bottle. And if you when I was first on that show, I was like, I don't really understand what the rules are. Are we guessing who they are? Or are we telling you, are they good at singing? Which one is it? And they were like, absolutely. And I was
are we
like,
saying good costume? What are we saying? By the way, I like the guesses. It's like, is it Lady Gaga? Is it Adele? I think it's President Obama. And then they're like, nope, it's Corey Feldman. And they're like, oh, I knew it. It's the kid from 8 is Enough.
That's when, they
twice.
They had, but no, it was from, they always throw out those, they throw out those crazy guesses.
Big names.
And then I would like it just one time to be like, oh, it is Prince Harry. Holy shit. They got him. And
Meghan Markle, they play like a horse character, and she's the front, he's the back, and they pop out. That would be great. That would be really good for ratings. But as my mom would say, they should do that. They should do that.
Ken is so he's like the secret weapon on that show where he's so freaking funny on it, and everyone's really great, and Robin Thicke's his great. They had to throw his ear is so good that they have to throw static at him and Nicole Scherzinger when she was there, or they can just listen to a person's voice and they will point out some obscure singer from that guy's from Northern Italy. He's a big pop star in Austria, and he and Nicole could decipher that. And so they had to throw anyway. And then Ken would just say the funniest thing.
When I talked to Robin Thicke backstage, he said, I can tell right now you can't sing just by talking to you because I hear your voice. I was like, wow.
You want a fun fact, David Spade?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee went to the University of Washington, my alma mater.
Where you did. Oh, my God. Don't make me
really
research. Bruce Lee,
was he
nice?
Enter the Dragon last week.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Do you have any classes with him?
No, he was much older than me. How dare you?
Oh,
but when everybody says you went to Harvard? Like how many presidents? And I was like, nobody has a better.
Yeah,
I was Bruce Lee. Name somebody better.
Get somebody cooler. I'm going to jump around here. You were once quoted as saying, which is a great beginning. Now, when we talk about SNL sometimes in the show, you say, I think you say, because you're the only one that wouldn't love the cue cards. I love the cue cards.
Oh, no, bad. I would, the anxiety that I'm feeling right now.
Of hearing about it.
I don't know how, I think, I was talking to, who's Bill Hader about I was like, I don't know how you do it, man. He goes, I'm super dyslexic, and if they change a single word, I flip out. And Stefan, obviously that was improvised, which was pretty incredible. But no, you got I still to this when I see people doing the Weekend Update or those things, that I've gotten so much better at it because of the soup for so many years, but. That live audience with cue cards flying with multiple people, I would be like, oh boy, here we go.
Well, there are a lot of cuts between Dress and Air, and you don't get a chance. You're just going to see it on the card and pretend
they
you're
yell
not
on the way out.
The
It'll be on the cards, and you're like,
on the
this
card,
is not
and we're skipping
preparation.
that, and you just go from here to here. So it is crazy. But just for a second, as it leads into this discussion, how many years did you do the soup? Because that's another part of your resume.
Oh, yeah, 12 years.
The soup's great.
And did that break some? That also is kind of fresh.
Did it ever not do
time.
well? I always thought Talk Soup and the soup would always.
You could always just.
Oh yeah, it did not well.
Really? I always thought I loved it. I thought everyone liked that one.
I thought it was extremely entertaining, no matter whenever you flipped through and you saw it, because it's pop culture and quips and.
Yeah,
visual.
No, we had a good time, but then I think then in 2015, E was at that point not the most well organized network on the planet. This is now almost 10 years ago, but they signed me to a new 2-year contract in August and then canceled the show in late October. And that was great. And they didn't realize my contract was guaranteed. No joke.
No joke. I'm not kidding around here.
And they had to pay your ass.
So
they should have just done it.
But it was that time when the waterfall of streaming was just budding into linear television, and no one television viewing was falling off. streaming was coming on slowly but surely, and they didn't know. They were like, "What's the problem? Maybe it's the show's fault." And that was you would always blame, and that kind of brought it into the barn. Also, they had moved our night and increased the number of repeats, and they were always telling us, "Oh no, there's so many people watching. There's even more people watching it now." And then they canceled. Like I was like, why say? I was like, don't try to make me feel better. Just tell me what's going on. And so that was on for 12 freaking years, and couldn't believe it. And that was one of those cases where I was like, well, this is what happens. You get a television show, and it's on. It works. This is how it works, right? And then
what's so hard?
Nobody gets 12 years.
Nobody gets 12 years.
Does that exist out there? Is that on Hulu or Netflix? The Soup.
No, because all those clips were news clips. So we just you could use them for free for 1 week, and then you had to pay for them all. And so I was told there's a couple of people that saved, like 400 episodes. I was like, I don't know who those people are, but I haven't seen them. It is weird to go back and look at it. My kids look at me and go, what are you doing? Is that you? And I'm like, yeah, that's what your dad used to do before he had hair. And
did you stick with the crew laughing and not an audience?
We put out folding chairs for about 20 people because we wanted to keep
Lo-fi.
It low. And then at one point, E wanted to do it daily. And I was like, we shouldn't do that because what if it doesn't work? And then it was going to become more of a talk show. And I was like, let's keep it to just clips.
The way it is. Yeah.
Slightly dirty jokes.
Yeah.
And and then they were like, then Daniel Tosh came on, and he was such a monster hit. And the E was always like, at one point, there was the president who ended up canceling the show. She had this big meeting with me, and she was like, have you thought about putting clips on from the internet? And then I go, like we do every week for the last 5 years. Yeah. And she was like, oh, you do? Okay, good. All right. End of meeting. And I was like, she's not even watching the show. She doesn't.
Wow. That's a perfect executive.
Yeah.
Don't read.
You should be like the show.
Don't listen. Just have an opinion.
Is doing your show. You're like, yeah, we're trying to be like the new show. That's really our show. Yeah. They're all very blurry. I mean, it's a format that works, and you guys do it, toss it, and then they just go, oh, we'll watch the new version. And he's funny.
Now,
so
Rob Dyrdek has been doing it on MTV for forever.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing.
So let me ask you, I'm just curious, you were reading a teleprompter, right?
I was, but it was so it was for the crew. The first year, nobody watched. And because we were on at 10 o'clock on Fridays, it was a desert. And this is, you kids listening or watching this, there was a time when you could only tune in for your show, and you missed it if that didn't.
Yeah.
And we began to beat a rerun of Sex and the City, and they were over the moon. And the show was so cheap at that point that they kept us on. But it would take me, for 22 minutes of jokes and clips put together, it would take me 4.5 hours to finally kind of do it.
Oh, horrible.
Oh, there was a crew guy that quit. He was just like, this guy can't read. And that's how he talks.
We should be in and out in real time.
I love a crew guy. This kid can't read.
What's happening?
Wall.
Of course, we hire somebody who can't read to read. And so that lowered, my anxiety lowered as I got better at it. And then I began to not care. And we would do the show live. And I would advertise that I had dyslexia, and I'd be like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't really read, but we're doing it live. And so that, I mean, of course, the best therapy for my dyslexia was doing a live show on television. So it was an odd But it anyway, but that's so to this day, like I'm not the greatest reader, but I'm so much more relaxed at it. And I just kind of go, it's just gonna be a thing. And that's how it is. And it's not gonna, you'll just have to, it all worked out, thank God. But when you guys just I know going back to it, but when like reading, like if I were to see a cue card with, like to see to see two jokes on a card at once and be like, here comes that one, here comes that one. And I know what's coming, so that means I'm ready to talk to whatever. I would be like, woo! I would need, that's always.
It's a bit much. I did it recently on SNL, and it was a lot. There's a lot of notes in your head. You've got guests and moving and introducing and landing jokes, and a lot of times there's 3 jokes in one paragraph, and they're not like delineated. It's just, but I do think what's great is like I have 2 older brothers that had dyslexia, but it wasn't diagnosed back then.
No, they just called you an idiot.
You're dumb.
They were in the red book or the yellow book rather than the blue or green, whatever and kind of felt sorry for them, but it was just nothing to do with their intellect at all. So it's great that they can go, no, this is how your brain works. Doesn't mean you're not Einstein. So
it's I don't know. And then the pressure of, so this is a lot. This is you're on the most popular live show of all time. You auditioned to get on this thing, and then it's like, we'll see how you do. If you score in this next 15 seconds, you'll probably get another season, or you're just completely off the show. And that's like the NFL.
Yeah,
that's right.
To this day, like there are cast members, I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I mean, but like cast members that got fired, I was like, what? But they're school. So it's a long. You've been all over this for many times.
There's all kinds of reasons why things happen, and some of it is just whimsy and luck, and then people can last 2 or 3 years, and then something. I don't know how it all really.
I was on Kevin Nealon's podcast, and
hiking. We'll start in just a second. Anyway, we're trying to do a little Kevin Nealon.
Hey, Joe, what are you
hiking with Kevin. Let's give him a plug. Hiking with Kevin.
He's he is, but he was saying that right before, because he had that character, Mr. Subliminal.
And Mr. Subliminal.
Yeah, it was like the first time he was doing it, and he was just about to, and Lauren got behind him. Like it's counting down from the commercial, and Lauren just goes, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And I was like, "What?"
And he had a revolver in his hand.
I feel like, damn. On top of everything else, the creator of the show just kind of fucks with you a little bit.
And you have to laugh and go, "Was he serious?"
Part of his sense of humor. I mean, his running catchphrase, you walk past in the hallways, still with the show. He just likes to break the tension. And between dress and air, he still gives a speech to everyone and kind of, we're going on the air show, and it wasn't a really good dress. And it's like, it'd be really good if this show was like funny rather than not funny, because we have a 2-week break and you're going to meet a lot of your relatives and all they'll remember is this show. Now go. But that makes me laugh.
Yeah. Or you say we had a 2-week break, you're back, and it shows. You took too much time off. We got to get back.
Great. Thanks, coach.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do a great show. Get him.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you were an athlete and stuff. You could have a coach who was you should all the time. So I went to state school. And then ones who just in a rare blue moon would give you a compliment or give you a little nudge, and it meant a lot more,
yeah. No joke. Yes.
So what was the sport you were best at? I know you played football, and you also...
I walked on to the University of Washington football team. So I was way out of my league. Talk about being, could not have been worse. But they kept me on because I was really good at skit night, and they loved me on skit night. So I became like a mascot. But that was the most terrifying I'd ever been a part of, but at the same time, most fun. But if I had to pick, if I was a good basketball player, and I was a pitcher my freshman year of high school, and I quit that. But I guess
triple threat.
I played darts. I mean, I played I like to blame my ADHD, but I just wanted to chase a ball or throw something that's all I wanted to do as a child. But now, all I do is play tennis. I remember playing freshman year of football in high school, and the coach was like, "See those guys playing tennis? They're all training to be old men." And he was like, "And we can play football." And everyone's like, "Yeah." And now I'm like, "Hey, probably should have stuck with tennis. That would have been a little bit better." But if I don't exercise, ask my wife, I get very agitated, and I think it's my best form of therapy, that and red wine. I now have this relationship with the University of Washington where it's been because of like being in Hollywood, they've not because of the records I set, I get to kind of do team events sometimes. And now I'm still friends with a lot of the players, but from the old guys. So I'm like, I can't believe my good fortune. Like they didn't kill me. But our coach, Don James, who was not a yeller in any way, he was always quiet. And even in practice, he kind of stood in this booth and directed things like a conductor very quietly. And when he would say something like he would be literally just go, "That was good." I'd be like, Coach James thought I was good. And, but yeah, we are also, so he was, continues to be one of the most legendary coaches of all college football. And, I can't. And then when I saw him years later, I was like, "Hey, coach." And he was like, "Oh, hey." And I was like, "You remember?" And because it's the walk-on programs at these colleges we were cannon fodder to make the scholarship players,
look better.
Keep them, yes, basically keep them in shape. That's my long-winded.
We got a clip
explanation.
I love hearing about that. I was tracking, distance running in high school, and we'd do intervals. You sprint a lap around the track, rest for a minute, sprint a lap. But the eighth one, which was the last one, the coach would always say, "Gentlemen, blood, gut, and hair." And we never knew what the hair part, we just thought blood and guts, but blood, gut, and hair. And
did your hair fall out? You're so stressed?
No, I don't know what it meant to this day. I'm asking, and you guys don't know, so clearly still haven't figured it out. Lauren Lansbury was his name. He was a brilliant coach, trained the shit out of us.
I remember in Blair Witch Project when they just found the teeth in the hair, and that was more terrifying than finding a hand.
Yeah.
I think that's a good connection. Yeah. It worked. I mean, we just got scared when we heard that. But anyway.
Dane, anything left for Joel?
Wait, David, did you play sports?
Joel, listen. I'm not on trial here. No, I was a skateboarder. I did play baseball. I did play all of them, baseball, basketball, and football, until it got too rough. Like, I think I was good enough in baseball till sophomore year in high school. I got cut, never went back. Football, I tried out sophomore year, got annihilated, and the coach treated me like I was Lucas and said, maybe this isn't for you. And then basketball, you could figure that one out. It was fun to play like intramural stuff, and then I wasn't bad. It just, at a certain point, you're not going to do anything.
Did you?
I was probably as good as Bronny.
Wait.
Oh, I root for Bronny. Come on, man.
Take the other side.
Anybody
who's Bronny?
LeBron
James' son.
I see. Yes.
I root for.
David, did you see that? It came out like 5 years ago. They studied skateboarders and about how it teaches independence because you're teaching yourself something a lot of the time.
Oh.
and it's not really a team, but it teaches true independence and to be out on your own and to be aware of your surroundings. And
it's a good game to do on your own. Like you just get your skateboard in Arizona, I'd skate around. You don't need to find a football game. You don't need to find someone to play basketball with. You just go, hey, I'm going to go skate. And then you go to a pool or somewhere and there's other dirt balls there and you just skate around. So it's kind of fun. And my parents are gone in the day, so I would just skate and try to get better. But I did really like it. It was definitely a skater mentality, a bunch of dudes that were doing that. And some were burnouts and stuff, but we weren't going to be in the football team. So there's different factions, you know. Yeah. And I was a skater, but I'm glad you brought that up because it's good on the quads. That's the reason I have good quads. That's why I don't show them a lot because people would go fucking nuts.
So you're still maintaining them then somehow.
If we ever do this again, we're going to have to talk about truck restoration, David.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Right.
Dana, we have a mutual truck restorer, right. Brian Corsetti, who...
I'm into Land Cruisers near the Scouts.
Well, I have Land Cruisers as well.
Oh, because I'm a rich motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Truck specific or SUVs?
Scouts look cool, dude.
I have an International Scout and a 1970 Land Cruiser and a 1990 Land Cruiser.
Cool, all the way. I like all.
All look cool.
I'm looking at 70s trucks now. That's all my Instagram feed.
That's me too.
Come on, are you guys going to get a Tesla truck? I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, no, they're so cool looking. They don't look like they're from that video game Dig Dug at all.
You going to get a Dig Dug truck?
No,
I love Elon. I think they're working out the bugs, though. I'm not ready for a Tesla truck. Plus, I'm too punchy. They're fucking magnanimous. I saw one the other day. I walked by it. It's like a tank.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, Land Cruiser's big.
I would valet in one of those and they'd say name for the car, and I'd say I'm Batman and go right into Coy.
You're not going to get in the Beverly Center with that.
It doesn't seem like it's a Batman vehicle. I mean,
it's pretty cool. I've seen them blacked out.
I would worry the valet would accidentally impale himself on one of the corners and sue you because they're like, "What happened? I bled out from."
I know they come with Bactine. Thank God. Bactine is back. All right. Thanks, Joel.
Liquid Bandwidth. Thank you for having me.
You're a good dude.
I held back on saying how giddy I was to talk to you guys because you're my heroes. So that's it. Okay, I'm leaving.
We worked.
Thank you, buddy.
We worked on things. We've seen you around. So
you got no idea how excited I was to do this. And my wife was like, "Well, that's a good one." And I was like, wait, it's not like the other ones are bad. And she was like, oh,
they are.
She said, please say hi.
That's
and
nice.
She's never met you.
Say hello. Awesome. And thanks, buddy. I'll see you around.
Thanks, Joel. Animal Control.
Animal Control. This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. Okay, we got John Corbett today. Friend of the world, John Corbett. I think everyone knows that face, that good-looking dude. Mostly Sex and the City, but he's done so much. Right, Dana? What do you think?
He's been working nonstop, really, in movies and Big Fat Greek Wedding. He had two huge hits with that. Northern Exposure. He wins the Emmy for that show. We're going to talk about his beginnings as working with Steel, how he weirdly got into acting and hairdressing. I mean, I'm just giving you the bullet points, but it's quite a ride. His obsession with Pee Wee Herman that led him to be a friend of the Groundlings. Those stories. He tells great stories, and he's somebody who's, Sex and the City, the new season's coming out soon again. So he's still working hard, and he's a hell of a nice guy. Really, really fun, sweet guy.
Yeah. Every girl that mentions him has a crush on him. That's for sure. And he's actually a good dude. So it's good to see it. And also married to Bo Derek, who was in Tommy Boy with us. So here's our boy, John Corbett.
What were you saying? All I saw was John being really animated. I click in and he goes, and so in the end, I got the girl.
I always get the girl in the end. You know that.
I know. First time I met you, you just said I always played the boyfriend. So
I always chase the girl around the kitchen for 90 minutes and get her in the end in any movie.
John and I have something in common. We're both the perfect boyfriend.
Here we are.
You guys, you guys played a lot of boyfriends.
We played a lot. Yeah.
John, we'll talk about you for the rest of this, but I have to say, in all my movies and TV shows, I've only been married once. I've only been this guy just like flirting with girls, and it's just like the one part. It just shows how limited I am in acting. But other than that, I guess I could do other stuff. They just have never wanted to.
You can act. I mean,
who? David?
David can act, but you're like, damn.
Listen, David's a fucking great actor.
There you go. Thank you, John.
Yeah. No, I'm serious,
yes.
man. Here's the thing. I was thinking about you. I was thinking about both you guys because, we're going to do this thing. So I started thinking about what's interesting in my life. And, it's not just about me, this thing. And I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. So I love it when you guys talk about yourselves. But I mean, I was watching you. We just for fun the other night watched Tommy Boy again because I haven't seen it since it was in the theaters, and I've never seen it with Bo. Right, so we watched it, and man, you know what you reminded me of in that, David, is one of my favorite movies is Moneyball. Right, you guys see Moneyball?
Oh yeah,
love it.
Jonah Hill,
love
right?
It.
So
Brad Pitt.
So Jonah Hill, very funny guy also. But I could also so easily have seen you playing a role like that in Moneyball. Have people come to you for roles like that, like not just a big broad comedy?
No, I was sort of saying that because I was joking that in movies I'm always single, and I don't know why, but once it started, it was every TV show, every sitcom, every movie, and I've only been married once in a movie. And they're like, "What if you're actually married to a girl? Would anyone believe or understand that?" And so that was sort of my funny thing. But I do have a movie that we're doing in about a month where I sort of have a slightly different part. So that's rare. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to say you are known as like this perfect, cool guy. And every girl I know that I mention, that's sort of your rap is like, oh my God, you fall in love with that guy so easily. So we don't have to only talk about that, but that is a nice rap to have.
Right. And just to complete John's thought about you, David, is I think that your attitude and your rhythm in a comedy, and then put that in like, no one will know this except old people, a movie like Fail Safe where he's advising the president. In other words, your attitude in a serious scenario played very real would be fun. I said that to you years ago. Now
I would like that.
Now I'm going to control the interview today. So now let me go to John.
Please do.
Dana.
I gave David a compliment.
I love it. Thank you, Dana.
It is it's rare that he gets one. The funny thing I noticed about the podcast is when sometimes David chimes in with something really funny when you guys are talking to somebody on a little bit of a roll, and David chimes in with something really funny, but David just rolls right over it. But then I can hear David chuckling to the funny thing in the background. That always kind of makes me laugh.
Well, basically, I'm interrupting the flow, so I just throw it in like that, and the flow keeps going, and then I go like this. Not bad.
It's really good.
I like that one.
I get into interview mode. I become like Mike Waller from 60 Minutes or something. But yeah, David in the early days was just coming on to this podcast. And so our producer used to count his yawns. Remember that? And then the podcast started. Everyone goes, hey, this is a big podcast. So then David doubled down and now we're here.
Yeah.
That's the reason David's wondering why I'm here. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing on this thing? Because
we're not, but go ahead.
Not many people know this, but we are neighbors. Dana and I are neighbors up here in Paso Robles. And we, for a year now, every time I see Dana anywhere, I say, when are you going to get me on that podcast? I love that podcast. I got to get on it. And he's always,
I love it.
He's always saying, yes, we'll get you on. We'll get you on someday. And finally, he just had enough. And he said, okay, you can come on. So that's why I'm here. Well, it'll be about an hour, and then you'll never have to deal with me again, Dana.
Well, the idea is that everyone we mentioned, everyone knows you. Like, you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know where to start, but I do know a few little things, and you can share these, because I thought it was funny that you come out of high school and the phrase was you work as a Boilermaker, and that leads you to acting. Can you just tell that? So we'll start with that for now, for fun.
Yeah. I left West Virginia right out of high school, I guess around 79, and came to California to meet my dad, who I didn't know because they split up when I was 2. We lived in California, actually, until I was 2. And then my mom and I went back. And
wait a minute. So you met your dad like at 19?
From the time I was 2 till I graduated high school. I saw him 2 times. Just because he was always working, and he had another family out here, and he came for 2 weekends. I think when I was 7. And
he's busy.
It's a theme on this podcast. David has his story. Most of our guests have an absentee dad. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just say it's I would love to have had an absentee dad, but that's another story.
Yeah.
The other thing is daddy stays. And sometimes that can be rough. But anyway, so you meet your dad, you're in LA, West Virginia, then what happens?
Well, to your point, man, I'm so happy. Daddy and I became drinking buddies when I showed up at his door at 18. But had Daddy stayed, man, Daddy was a tough. I saw what the other kid was like that he raised. Daddy was a toughie, right? So sometimes that's better that Daddy takes a hike.
Dana had a toughie too. I had a drinker. So I was the same thing. When I hooked up with them, we started drinking. So that's a good common denominator. Less pressure for them to be the dad. Once you turn 18, there's no child support. There's not as much stress for them. So that's when my dad softened a little bit and started giving me his phone number and saying, "You can call me now instead of me calling you."
Yeah. Is he still around?
You know what I mean? No, and now I have to hang up and cry. No, he
I knew
no,
something was coming.
No, he was great once we figured it out. But I was sort of in the same boat, so I relate. Keep going. I kind of relate to what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So my dad was also a big drinker, but a smart guy. He was a nuclear welder. He helped build San Onofre power plant, and he was a watchmaker and really interesting guy. And he let me live with him, and he, I just showed up at his door because I came on a cross country trip with some friends.
Well, yeah.
What?
Did he look like you? Did you kind of, oh, it's me? Was he 6'5" and did you see a?
We're the same. It was crazy. We're the same size, same height and weight. And it was really weird. But he said, "What do you want to do?" Because I wasn't going to go to college, and he said, "You want to be a Boilermaker." For people who don't know what that is, it's like
it's not the top 10 things I was thinking, but okay.
It's not the top.
That's my third choice. Go ahead.
It's crazy. It's you're welders, iron ship builders, steam boiler makers, and so I got in that union, and that's what I did for about four years.
Is it like a lot of welding with the big hat on, and with
it's mostly all that.
Well, the helmet.
Yeah, you gotta wear the helmet.
Dana, one of us hasn't been boiling.
Look at these hands. Look at these hands. She's a fucking little girl.
Softest fucking hands I've ever seen.
You know what's bothering me?
Look, a little baby.
I got little girl hands.
Yeah, little baby.
Little soft, little fucking
no wrinkles.
Soft gloves. I watched Raging Bull last year. But now you're a welder, Boilermaker.
Yeah.
You're in a shop. Have you got a really hard ass foreman fucking with you?
Yeah,
Come on, you guys.
Every one of
Corbett, quit gold bricking.
Every one of them has the guy from Full Metal Jacket fucking telling you, let's go.
Full Metal Jacket. I love it.
It's Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, we're working. It's 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we're cranking out 60 hours a week, and it's just it's a tough life. I mean, guys are fucking losing fingers and hands and equipment, and it's like get a new guy, and it's like football when a quarterback goes down. It's like, you ever notice how the coach barely even looks? He's like, next guy, get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there, Jennings.
When do you break it to the Boilermaker squad that you got to leave early because you have a cold reading class?
but you wandered off.
You're like, guys, I saw Hamlet last night, and they're like, it's like a movie. And you're like, I think that's my calling. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
That's fucking. That's funny.
Yeah. So tell me about you. You wandered off the job site, I think.
I got hurt. I actually got hurt. I hurt my back, and I couldn't do that heavy work anymore. I was sort of walking with a cane, right? And I'm about 23. And my dad said, go to college. I was living down in Bellflower, and he said, go to Cerritos College. That's where he learned to weld.
He's the best brainstormer we got.
So he wants you to go back to welding school? You got a backpack and a cane. Oh.
No,
go to Harvard.
He doesn't want me to go to welding school. That's where he learned to weld. He goes, just go to school.
Yeah.
Finish your fucking education. And that's where the real, you don't want to do this your whole life anyway. But that little junior college is where I discovered acting. I met some actors who invited me to a improv class. And man, as soon as I walked in there, I didn't act in high school or anything like that. As soon as I walked in there, I just said, fuck it, this is for me. Because I always made my buddies laugh and things like that. And I signed up for all the acting classes. And I swear to God, 2 months later, I'm in Hair. They did a great production of Hair. Hey, give me a head with hair.
Long, beautiful hair.
You got it down.
That was perfect. Can you guys harmonize?
Yeah.
Hair.
Shining, flexing, waxing. Yeah.
Everyone's got a bush. Is that one of the lines? I didn't see it.
That's one of the lines that they did on Broadway.
Why does it sound like Nathan Lane or something? I don't know. I'm going to sing a song. All right, go ahead. So you're doing hair at a junior college. You got no other prospects, but you're loving it.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing hair. I did actually go to hair school, but I wasn't doing hair at the junior college.
We'll get to your that in a second.
That's crazy. What happens? I do it for about a year. Check it out. I sign up for extra work, right? So I start doing extra work. I'm on fucking Chips. I'm on Cagney and Lacey. It's sweet.
Whoa,
did you ever do extra work?
I don't think so. No,
because we were doing stand up.
Okay, so and here's the great thing about extra work. I mean, how crazy is this? I even did extra work on Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker. In I think 84 or 5, something like that, right? Yeah. And so here's the great thing about extra work. If you show up and just shut the fuck up and mind your business and open your eyes, you can learn.
Get paid.
You get paid. $35 a day. I remember the extra pay. You can learn a lot. You can learn what this guy's doing holding this microphone and what a key grip is. And that's what I did. I used that as I knew what everybody did by the time I got my first, one line on a movie. So it was great.
The real stuff. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe, but it made me think that's really how you learn just how an actual set works, not acting class, where you go, oh, they do a few takes. That guy comes over and tells them they change their delivery. Okay, that seemed to work better. So you realize, oh, this is how fast it works. This is how people get talked to. This is the hierarchy. And then when you get on a set, you're not totally blindsided like we all were.
Or intimidated by that environment,
I was, oh my God, after like 2 years of extra work, and still hadn't really gotten, here's the great thing too we all have this feeling, right? When you're an extra, you just know somebody's going to see your potential and see the star. That guy is a star, man. It's going to happen, and it just it never does, right? But by the end of like 2 years of doing extra work, man, you could put me in a scene with Robert De Niro, even though I'd never been on camera except as an extra, and I had just had so much confidence of being on the set. You're right, David. It gives you so much confidence.
Well, it's kind of like it's magic in a way. And then if you're watching actors and you go, oh, they're just talking and they're just repeating. I mean, I did a movie with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. I was so fucking scared. And then we're doing a scene and it's like, I'm telling you where to rub the train. And he just said it like that. Then he said it like that 10 more times. And then Kirk Douglas, I think we got to rub the train. So I was like, this is Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster. I mean, that's it?
Yeah. But if you're reading a script along, Dana, like I've done this where I had 2 lines and something. So I'm just sort of reading the script, watching from the side. And the way they do it compared to how it is on where I read it in my head, I go, oh, they're putting a little spin on that. Oh, that's not how I pictured that line. Oh, they went down on that. And that's kind of little things you pick up. You go, oh, like you do in acting class. You learn stuff you don't even think you would learn. And you go, oh, that helped me.
But But check this out, though. Here's the thing. When did you find this with Kirk Douglas and Lancaster?
Burt Lancaster.
Burt Lancaster. When you get on the set, David, even if you've had a month's worth of acting classes, right? You can now do a monologue. You can do a fucking scene. When you get on set and you see that these guys can't even say 2 fucking lines without fucking it up. Like,
no,
I just worked in the steel factory 60 hours a week. That's hard work. These guys can't even string 2 lines together. And when you see, it's just, that's just the way it is. I'm sort of
the laziness, the blatant laziness.
If you can act, this is for kids who listen. If you can act for 20 seconds,
that's it.
You can own Hollywood.
Yeah.
All you need is 20 seconds. Cut.
Sure. And it doesn't hurt your back usually. So you're like, why was I doing that other bullshit?
Yeah. It's a 20-second increment kind of deal. So would you ask me what left? So my teacher came to me and she said, her name was Georgia Well. And she said, look, I think you can.
And you're like, and that was the beginning of every girl hitting on me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the ladies later, but he's happily married.
Yes,
now.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
I love Bo. Yeah.
She says Bo's the best. She says, you gotta, I think you could do this, but you got, I'm living 30 miles south of Hollywood and I've been there 4 years, been to Hollywood twice, once to walk around and look at the stars on Hollywood Boulevard, and another time to see a taping of Family Feud with Richard Dawson. Right? That's my
wow.
Yeah, it might as well be 300 miles away when you live down Long Beach.
Yeah.
You just never go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Go to Shakey's Pizza Parlor? I mean, there's nothing there. And she said, I had a nice. I was making $20 an hour in 1980 working in that steel factory. I had a nice little condo. She says, you gotta move up there and you gotta take acting classes because time's ticking. You should have started this at 18. And I did it. I fucking moved to Westwood.
It's scary, but that's probably the best advice. Yeah.
If she didn't give me that advice, that we wouldn't be talking right now. It just would have never happened. I would have been too afraid to make a big move like that. But I moved to Westwood and moved in there was 5 of us, me and 4 18-year-olds in a 2-bedroom apartment. They were all going to UCLA and I was in the bedroom with 3 guys. I enrolled in hair school. Down in hair school.
You enrolled in hair school, even though you're thinking of being an actor.
I like he throws it in like it's the most normal move. That's probably his dad called him.
No, go to hair school. We all try to get I started making handmade gloves before I auditioned for SNL. I had to have something to fall back on. So you're confident, but you go to hair school just in case it doesn't work out.
Here's what happens. So because of the accident, I sued the company and I got a nice sack of cash, right?
Okay, so, more than 100,000 or less.
It was about 100,000, of which I got about $33,000. Right?
Okay,
they get some, and everybody gets a little. And I got that. But my rent is at this place is $300 a month. With the guys, so I'm doing all right. Good. But the girlfriend that I had at the time was a hairdresser who made it down in Long Beach. She made a good living at it, right? So I know I'm not going to be on a TV show anytime soon. And I think, I like what she does. It's kind of creative. I love shampoo. And I think that
the movie shampoo?
The movie shampoo.
Yeah, the movie shampoo.
In my mind,
great. You're great.
I can cut hair to all the. I knew one thing's going to happen. There was money in people in show business's pockets, and I was going to fucking take some of it out one way or another. I was either going to be an actor or I was going to be a hairdresser on movie sets. I'm getting some of that cash that they have because now, that's looking good, man.
Oh no, John! I just took my hat off because I thought it was rude. I'm wearing a hat.
No, I like it. I like it. I like the fucking height.
Me and Dana have the interchangeable hair, so
we get a lot of heights.
There's nobody you've ever had on this podcast, by the way, out of 150 of them that knows hair more than I do. You
fucking nail it. I love it.
You both have great hair.
So then you become a professional and you're working in a salon. That's and you're kind of like and you're young, strapping young man, 6'5". So you're a little bit like Warren Beatty and shampoo at that point.
That's right.
There's nothing more seductive than cutting a woman's hair.
And you're straight, and that's so rare. So these girls are all coming in and talking. You're just meeting girl. I mean, that's all you do all day.
That is not correct. I am working. I'm working. You guys know where that little restaurant by the Beverly Center is called Jan's? It's right next to
like kind of a casual.
Yeah. Like a little diner, right? So we're sharing the hair school. We're sharing the parking lot with Jan's. It's like, I don't know, Beverly and La Cienega. So I'm right in the Jewish area of Beverly Hills. So every, not hot chickie, but every client I have is a little old Jewish lady who's coming in for a $3 set, right? And I'm going to get a dime and maybe a quarter for a tip, right? So the whole time I'm there, I'm working on 60-year-old ladies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hair.
We were off by a little bit, John.
I was picturing like the Instagram. I mean, the money that goes into it now with everyone around town, like there's so much money being spent on hair and coloring and all that stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
There was a guy at this particular time named Giuseppe Franco. You ever heard of this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Very famous. Mickey Rourke's his best friend. This is 1985. And he's getting $35 a haircut back then. And nobody could believe he was getting paid that much for a haircut. Yep. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's on Canon. Maybe that's
it's still there. It's still there. Yeah.
You might laugh at this. When I first got a little extra money, I would have someone come to my house. This is me in the 80s, little SNL money. Yeah. And it was like $400.
What?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Bill Clinton. Remember he got his haircut on the Air Force One.
Because it's $400. The guy brings the leather pouch has like 90 scissors in it, and he's going around my ear with little tiny scissors. And I would bleed. I mean, he would cut me. And I'd still pay him, and I'd have to, I was dabbing cotton. Anyway, so you're doing that, and so what's your first move in Hollywood then?
Here's my first move.
What are you going to say?
So back then you had to go into a fucking guy's office and do a scene if you wanted to try to get an agent. Hardest things in the world. Moving to Hollywood, for anybody listening. Here's your two toughest things. Getting an agent and getting your SAG card. They're almost impossible things to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Without help, without some sort of help.
Without knowing anybody.
No connections,
It's an impossible task. But back then I only did it once. I had this old-timey agent named Dick Dunn who referred to himself in the third person as Old Dick Dunn. Old Dick Dunn always returns his calls. Old Dick Dunn. Old Dick Dunn.
I want to make that a character.
I know Dana wants to play him already. Yeah.
Dick Dunn doesn't do that. Dick Dunn goes over here.
Dick Dunn gets it done.
Dick Dunn drives himself to work.
Old Dick Dunn. Ed, you got to add Old Dick Dunn. You referred to him.
Old Dick Dunn. Okay.
Old Dick Dunn will give you a dick down.
Old Dick Dunn had a farm. E-I-E-I, fuck yourself. So what? So he's your agent now, Dick Dunn?
So Old Dick Dunn, I go in, I do a scene, and he's my guy. And Old Dick Dunn has an office up on the end of Sunset before it goes into Beverly Hills, right across from the old Jaguar place. I don't know if that's still there, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Of course.
Check this out. Old Dick Dunn used to say, "Hey, come down to the office today at noon. We're going to lunch." And I'd go down at noon. This is probably 1985. Guess who's fucking in the office? And we're going to go down and have lunch at the old Hamburger Hamlet at the end there. Remember that?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I walk in. Vincent Price. So he's friends with Dick Dunn. He goes, "Come on. You're coming with me and Vince. We're going down here." I fucking get to go hang out with a couple times. This happened with Vincent Price.
Hi, I'm Vincent Price. No, I don't do it.
I'd like the curly fries.
We're dealing with a very unusual situation. It's slightly Peter Lorre, a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Hamburger Hamlet had, you were over there by Abrams Artists too, which was kind of by that vicinity. There was La Dome, which someone told me Elton John ate there for lunch once. And I kept going, someone take me to that place so I can see Elton John in real life, and Hamburger Hamlet, Dean Martin was there once.
Oh, did you see him?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's like you can randomly, you get these agents that their whole life is based on lunch. They go, let's go to lunch. And then they get out and show off their new clients, which you look like a big stud. He's walking around, he's like, it's my new guy. But he knows Vincent Price, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So you're hanging out with old Dick Dunn and Vincent Price in 1985.
The craziest...
Basically DiCaprio's squad.
Here's the fucking craziest part. I looked it up recently because he was such an old man to me, right? He was a little hunched over. Yeah. I looked it up. I'm fucking 63. He was a year younger than me when we were going to lunch. Vincent Price.
He seemed ancient.
He seemed ancient. He was a fucking year younger than me. Yeah. So bizarre. So here's what happens. The old Dick Dunn, he's sending me out for things, and halfway through hair school, I get a commercial, right? So I get this commercial for Samsung Electronics. I shoot it in one afternoon, and hair school takes about a year to get out of. So halfway through hair school, when I graduate from hair school, this commercial starts running, and so I'm working in this salon. I go to work at the salon on Melrose in Blessing, called On Mars, and what our biggest client was this rock and roll kid named Charlie Sexton. Do you remember this kid at all?
Oh, hell yeah. That guy's Beat
Charlie.
So Lonely.
Beat So Lonely. Oh, I love that you know that. Charlie was our guy. I used to wash Charlie's hair for him. I'm making $150 a week in this hair salon, hoping for some walk-ins, which hardly ever happen because it's on the third floor of this building. So
walk-ups.
Yeah, nobody's walking in. So I'm basically
too tall. I can't make
fuck that place.
No, I can't even get up the stairs for my haircut.
No, my little Jewish ladies aren't coming there anymore.
Oh,
now
they're coming. Yeah.
Now I'm in the hip place, but it's all appointments for the 3 other hairdressers that are working there who are fucking booked all day long. And I'm sweeping up fucking hair and throw it in the trash can and wait for a
split ends of Charlie Sexton.
Is a new kid in town.
The new kid's got to be the shampoo boy too, so I'm shampooing everybody's heads and towel drying them. Here's the thing: that I'm $150 a week. 2 months I'm working in a salon. The commercial starts playing. $8,000 a month I get for 2 months for this thing.
Sweet.
For this thing I worked 6 hours on, and I quit that job and. Now
one commercial.
Did you throw off throw off down your scissors and throw a and did you do a
you
Norma Ray? Guess what? You all so great. That's fucking that.
I love it. $8,000. That's what gets you addicted. You go, holy crap.
There's money in them there hills.
I'm still in the $300 a month place, right? So
yeah,
and I still got a nice little
buys a Rolls Royce.
I got a I go up to
Do you have any shoes with diamonds on them?
Yeah.
And I got a little left over from the sack of gold from the lawsuit, right? So I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna do this hair deal. And I'm kind of, going out on auditions and stuff. I got my fucking cheap little headshot. But another mistake, young people who are listening, coming to Hollywood, just know this, it's not going to happen. You're fucking not going to have a 40-year career where you only get to act and live in a multi-million-dollar house. And that just, it's like telling a kid who's standing in line for the 5 o'clock fucking, comedy store there to do open mic night. Like, this probably is not, you're not going to do this for 30 years and live in $1 million house. You kind of just got to know that that's not going to happen. It's, for the three of us, it happened, but there's so many reasons why it probably shouldn't have happened. Right.
It's a possibility, but it's very, very tough. And they see people like you, they see people and they go, it can happen. And that keeps people going. And if they're good, I think if you're good, someone finds you. Advice I used to get was like, how do you do this? How do you do this? I go, people will find you. If you're good at something, like your teacher realized you had something. And sometimes in comedy, I see people and I go, I think this guy's going to make it. But you can't, it's not just about do it a lot. It is about doing a lot. But if you have something, I think the word gets around somehow.
Right, but it's tough. I mean,
a long shot. Fuck.
I think it's emotionally violent to do this career. I was in this acting class at San Francisco State, and this actress came in, and she's somebody you might recognize or did a few commercials. First time I'd heard this: if you can do anything else with your life, do that. But if you can't live without trying show business, go ahead. That's how, but she had a cigarette and she looked pretty boosted up. But anyway, go ahead.
Well,
it ain't easy, kids.
Stuff. So here you are. You're now you got a commercial on your belt.
Yeah, I got a commercial under my belt, and I don't know, a year's worth of Hollywood acting classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the mistake that everybody makes. That old Dick Dunn's now, he's got some connections, right? So he's sending me out for Hollywood's such a small little town back in the 80s. It's even smaller now in some ways for, let's say, casting directors. You guys know this. For casting directors, there's fucking 12 or 15 of them, right? So Dick Dunn's sending me out for pilots and stuff because, I'm a tall, fucking half decent looking white guy, right? So back then, that was most of every pilot had a role for a guy like that. But I'm not ready. I'm fucking walking in there.
Too green.
I'm green. My hands are shaking. The fucking script, I'm forgetting where I am. I'm pouring sweat like broadcast news. And the mistake is these guys now have seen me, and you only get that, saying you only get
one first shot.
Yeah, one first shot to make a good impression. So they're never fucking bringing me back. Every time I go in there, they're like, no, you can just tell when somebody's ready. You see a guy on any open mic night, you guys know, like, fuck, this guy's got something, or he's got a long way to go.
It's too early. Yeah,
it's too early. So that was my big mistake, and not my mistake, because I was learning, but that's my advice also to people. Like, don't come to Hollywood and go get that headshot before you take like 3 years of acting classes.
God, before we get to your success, Northern Exposure and stuff, I know that you did work doing lighting at the Groundlings, and when Phil Hartman and John Lovitz were there. So
this is a fucking great story. Now we got something.
This is SNL, baby.
This is SNL
adjacent.
This is SNL. Fucking.
So why were you working there if you were so flush and doing commercials?
Yeah, well, you didn't run out of that $8K that got taxed, did you?
It goes like this. So my buddy wants to go see the movies, right? Remember we used to go to the movies and look at the posters and go, oh, let's go see this one, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So we do that. And then there's this movie with this guy, and it's called, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Mm-hmm. He goes, let's go see it. And I said, no, fuck, let's go see whatever else is playing. That's a fucking kids movie. He says, I don't think it's a kids movie. I think it's something else. So we go. It's like fucking that first showing, 10:30 or 11 o'clock. I can't remember what theater, but somewhere in Hollywood. We go see this movie, and I sit there, my fucking jaw drops. I can't even understand like what I'm seeing, right? Because
so weird,
this character is, it's so dimensional. And this fucking guy, who is this guy? We sit through like three of them. We sit through 3 of those screenings. And I probably went back a couple times and took other people. But what you got to remember is, and nobody understands it, today, except, this age range. Once you walk out of that theater and you're going, who's fucking Pee Wee Herman? You got no way to look up who this guy is. There's no fucking little thing you can touch.
Can't Google him.
Yeah, what do you go find information in 1985?
Plus, I thought he's a real guy. I didn't think he's playing anyone. I was too new. I was just like, that's a real guy. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was a Paul Rubens.
That's funny.
There is no Paul Rubens. There's only Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I knew this. We're reading in the credits that this guy's name was Paul Rubens. So we can't find out anything about this guy. And not too long after that, my buddy says, hey, there's this place where this guy named Paul Rubin, who's playing Pee Wee, studied acting and does skits called The Groundlings. Groundlings. It's on Melrose. Let's go fucking check it out. He'll probably be there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I know. So we go there.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So far, it tracks.
It's tracking. We're going to go fucking see this guy. So we go. It's a Friday night. I remember it was a Friday night. We get some tickets. I think they're fucking $7 or $10 to go see the Groundlings. You guys have been to the Groundlings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we walk in this theater. It's a very tiny theater for anybody listening who's never been there. And at this time, nobody's talking about the Groundlings, right? So now everybody has some kind of reference because of all the Saturday Night Live alum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's a very small theater. There's an aisle up the middle. It's about 99 seats, and there's fucking 50 seats on each side up a little incline. It's small,
tiny, intimate,
very tiny, intimate. So we get in there and we're looking around. Fuck, Pee-wee's not here. And the show starts. Sure. I'm sure he's not there. The show starts, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. So it's about a half hour. I'm sorry. I guess it's 45 minutes or so of sketch. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take a little intermission and then come back. And this fella stands up and starts saying, give me a place, give me a town, give me a job. And they're doing some of the fucking best improv I've ever seen, because I have only been in classes, right, with people who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
It looks like a magic trick. It's unbelievable how crazy it is. You go, how are they doing this?
It is a magic trick because they've studied, how to produce the fucking, rabbits from the hat. I mean, the give me a scenario, as is also a trick. It's like you fucking say anything,
Yeah.
But they're seeming like geniuses at this point.
Yeah, of course.
So after the show, there's going to be another show. We're at the early show. After the show, we go out and the audience is clearing out. And this fella who's saying, give me a name, give me a place, comes out in the thing. And I go up to him and I say, hey, I love the show. I could tell he's kind of in charge. It turns out this fella's name's Tom Maxwell, who at the time is like a founding member of the Groundlings and the sort of guy, their director, right, of everything. Okay. But I just know he's the guy that was leading the fucking band. And so I said, is there any job that I could do here? I love this. I want to be around this. And he said, he looks me up and down. He says, are you available every weekend? And I said, wow. Yeah. He says, my spot guy's leaving. You ever work a spotlight? And I said, no. He said, can you come tomorrow night for the first show? Get here about 6:00 and you're going to do 2 weeks with my spotlight guy. And you're going to take over the spotlight. I said, yeah. He goes, you're also going to sell candy and beer at the intermissions. And he says, you good with that? And I said, yeah. He goes, $35 a show, cash. So $70 a night. You good with that? And I go, yeah. He goes, I'll see you tomorrow. And I fucking came back the next day and I learned how to fucking do the spotlight, which is much more intricate than you would think, because now you're doing a dance, right? With the performers. So it might have happened before me, but I don't remember, like Lovitz, for example, doing hello, that's the thespian. Tommy jealous. So for instance, Hartman would probably say, and now a word from Liars Anonymous, right? And at that beat, it's a dark theater. Bang, that spotlight has to come on exactly where fucking Lovitz is going to be.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I got to know his act, and I got to know what his last fucking goodbye line is, and bang, spotlight goes out, stage is dark for a minute. There's a little booth next to me where guys are also operating the main lights, right? So I got to learn this fucking act, and for the whole show, and it was just fucking amazing. And I don't know how long I was there before one weekend Lovitz is gone, right? It's like, where's John? He's got an audition for Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
Now, in my mind, this is not possible because
someone that you have run across in the world, it might be on Saturday Night Live.
Might be on Saturday Night Live. One of my favorite shows that I have watched since the day it came on in 1975. I believe it was October, because I'm about 14 or 15. And to this fucking day, have probably never missed an episode. I mean, I still get excited when I wake up on Saturdays. I'm not bullshitting that tonight is a new fucking episode of Saturday Night Live with somebody, Josh Brolin maybe. And all day long, I'm like, fuck, it's coming on soon. I'm still like a 14-year-old boy when it's on. Are you guys like that at all?
I love it.
If I go back there, and I hear that theme music, Lauren talks to me and I go in 8H. Yeah, it's heady stuff. There's nothing like it. But the interesting part of that is that you're seeing Phil Hartman and John Lovitz pre-Saturday Night Live working together. And then I think there was at one point you were there, I don't know, around this time, and you were having an argument with your girlfriend at the Groundlings in the hallway, and something happened.
Oh yeah, Dana, sore subject.
What was that story? Just an argument, getting a little loud, and then what happened?
Yeah.
Well, so that's funny. So So from this time, there's only a couple people that are going to know I was at the Groundlings. Phil wasn't one of them because I didn't have much exchange with him. But Lovitz, Kathy Griffin, George McGrath. Do you know that guy, George McGrath?
He's a Simpsons guy I always heard about.
Simpsons guy, and he wrote a lot of the Pee Wee stuff.
People thought he's a great writer. Yeah,
great fucking writer, and even better performer. Should have been on Saturday Night Live. Why?
Oh, I didn't know he's a performer.
Oh my God, one of the best. So, in the back of these stairs at the Groundlings, where you work in the spotlight, it goes down to where the cast is. You know, Phil and John would sneak up, you know, individually to kind of watch the show if they weren't on for a while, and I would kind of have this rap with John, right? And so we sort of had a thing. Phil would come up, and I liked shoes, right? I always bought like thrift store shoes, and Phil would always notice my shoes, like executive wingtips or some two-tone shoes.
Oh yeah.
And he'd say, every time he'd say, "Hey, nice shoes." He'd whisper to me because the audience is also sitting right below me.
Yeah.
He'd say, I'd say, thanks. He'd say, "Where'd you get those?" And I like to shop.
He wants a pair.
Yeah. I like to shop at this place called Aardvarks that used to be on Melrose.
I remember Aardvarks.
Aardvarks.
Where'd you get those shoes, fella?
Yeah, I like the shoes. Yeah, little Chick Hazard in Phil. Yeah.
So every time because as he's coming up these stairs, you know, he's seen my feet first before he gets to the top. And so every time I found myself like trying to wear nice shoes when I'd work because I thought Phil might notice.
Yeah,
right?
What a great reason to talk.
Yeah.
And every time he'd fucking come up almost and he'd look down shoes and he'd say, "Aardvarks." And I'd say, "Yeah, Aardvarks." But I was more friendly with Lovitz.
$3.
So
anyway, what about the argument with the girlfriend?
Yeah.
This time I'm with this girlfriend, but this time I'm famous, right? Because I'm on Northern Exposure for about 2 years. Right. So John and Phil are hosting this thing in like Montana, one of these things you guys get paid for to come host a charity event, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with this girlfriend, and we're arguing in the hall, out loud, fucking kind of yelling, and the door pops open, and it's Lovitz, and he says, "Hey." He goes, "Get in here." And so we both come into the room. So you guys do Lovitz all the time, right? And so the world kind of thinks of Lovitz as, you know, jealous.
Jealous. Yeah, that guy.
Right. He's like that on talk shows. So they don't know there's another fucking side to this guy.
Yep.
And Lovitz for about an hour was like a therapist to us, telling us why we should be kind to each other, how to fucking get through this thing. It was like every self-help book you've ever read, because I've read a ton of them, in an hour. I mean, I always remember that he did that. You know that side of him, right?
He's like that. He's like a fix-it guy. If you say something's wrong, he goes, "I'm going to give you a list of 3 doctors that you should see tomorrow. And I'm going to call them ahead of time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he really gets into things, and he's very like an earnest person.
Yeah.
That seems a little different than his persona.
So you're trying to get the power over. You should accept the power. I could just see him. Yeah.
Why do you fight? You need to. You're lucky to have someone. You know, he does get in that. He's not that broad, but he will have a talk with you. I agree. You're right on that story.
It was just amazing. And I bumped into him a few times since then, you know, because where we live, we're just so far out of Hollywood by, a lot of hours. But I'll always remember him until they stick me in the ground that he took the time to be so sweet like that.
That's nice.
He's a nice
John,
guy.
if you're listening, there you go.
Yeah.
So you have such a big resume here. I don't even know where to start.
Let's talk about this fat resume.
Damn.
The first big one was Northern Exposure.
The controversy of with Rob Lowe. I don't know if it's a known controversy, but it's not really. But
hey, wait, let me tell you guys one thing. We shared, the three of us shared a space in the early 90s. I think you know this, Dana, but I'm going to reveal it. We shared a space in the early 90s for one of the most iconic things in rock and roll that ever happened. You know what it is, David Spade?
I do not.
The three of us were at the 1992 MTV Awards that some people say were the best awards ever.
The one Dana hosted?
The one Dana hosted. I presented to Van Halen. You did skits. You did the welcoming guy.
And a receptionist. And I also was trying to help write Dana jokes. I think Dana, right? I was supposed to be underneath there with you.
And you did that. I played drums with you too via remote.
Oh, yeah.
You got Nirvana. You got Nirvana, Black Crowes, Elton John, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Shit.
20,000 seater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got fucking Eric Clapton. I mean, it was a 20,000 seater. That was
Poly Pavilion.
It was Poly Pavilion.
They were a big deal. That was a big deal.
That was a very big deal. Howard Stern, Fart Man came down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, the same one. Wow.
Yes, sir.
I can't unsee that.
So much more fun then it feels like I don't even know what the MTV Awards are. Do they even do them anymore?
So then here's another 3 degrees since we're in this section.
Okay.
Your wife was on, thankfully, did a part in a movie I did called Master of Disguise, where she starts the movie and runs away in the night and stuff, and then goes in a car, and it's like she goes like this, and then suddenly it's James Brolin. So as if James Brolin was doing a disguise, so he's Bo Derek. David worked with her on Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
And then, so we also have that connection to Bo.
We have that connection.
I mean, you're married to her, but I met her.
I was, so the other night when we watched Tommy Boy, we were talking about some stuff. And I remember on your podcast, somebody, I don't remember who it was talking about Bo's short hair in Tommy Boy, right? Mm-hmm. And that John had said, I don't want you to look like a movie star. Cut your hair short. And she said, fuck, that didn't happen like this. Here's what happened. Let's see if you guys know. So Bo is in Paris doing pre-production on a movie, right? That she's going to do a couple months from now, but she thought she should have short hair. So she cuts her hair and she's trying it out. And she said about a week later, she gets a phone call. We want you to offer you this movie. But if you say yes, you've got to get on a plane and tomorrow and fly to Toronto from Paris and start that afternoon, which she did. She said yes to it. And she said she fucking landed in Toronto in the morning, and by the afternoon she was shooting the swimming pool scene. Right?
Wow!
Right?
Wow! Yeah.
And so
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
So for all these years, as we know, acting, how acting goes, you don't fucking get a call 12 hours before. So she was obviously replacing somebody.
I was wondering, are you going to ask me who she covered?
Well,
I don't know.
Now we finally know.
I don't know who fell out. Do you know? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Who could beat Bo Derek?
So Bo's fantastic manager, I don't even know if you know this, but was the great Bernie Brillstein, right?
Oh, it was?
It was, yeah.
Bernie, wow, that's all Bernie. Ties together. Yeah. Okay.
Bernie well.
So Bernie only had 2 women, apparently, according to Bernie, who we've had so many dinners with. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
Bernie only had Gilda and Bo, the only 2 women he's ever represented. I think that's pretty cool.
Shit,
that's him.
That's a good group.
So, Dana, I mean, David, you don't know who Bo replaced?
If you tell me, maybe it'll ring a bell, but Bo is so ingrained in my head for that.
Raquel Welch.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do I remember anything about Raquel Welch?
Wow.
I don't think I got CC'd on that. Didn't come across my desk. I was in the same boat. They're going, get the fuck over there and cut your hair and go get your fittings and learn your lines. And then they're like, I think we were like, wait, who's the person that's playing this? Who's this? Because we didn't know. We got we had one girl we knew that we got as the girl that we both flirt with at the pool. But other than that, we didn't know anyone. We didn't know. Julie Warner was in my acting class, though.
Wait.
That's not why she got it, but we knew her. Rob Schneider was in there in Ivana Chubbuck's class. And then, so I was like, when her name came up, I said, oh, I think she's great. She came in, Farley loved her. And Bo came in, and Bo came into a shitstorm. That's so nice. She just said yes, by the way, because it was kind of a gamble.
Yeah. Well, she had time off for this other thing that never actually happened. Here's the other thing. Bo said she was only supposed to be there for a week. She said, I was fucking there for 10 weeks.
On Tommy Boy?
On Tommy Boy. And she started flying home and coming back for just those few little scenes that she's in. She's probably in 5 little scenes. She said she was there for 10 weeks. And I've heard you on the thing saying before how you guys would fly back to do the show and then come back on Saturday night and be exhausted unless Farley wanted to stay and party.
When he wanted to go to the fucking after party, we were dead.
Yeah.
We got to go for 1 minute. Lauren will get mad. I go, Lauren doesn't know who we are.
I said, what do you remember about Chris? And she said, here's what she said about each of you. She said, the crazy thing I remember is, this is 95, so it's not like you could get an espresso machine and stuff now. She said he wanted an espresso machine, and she goes, they got him like a $14,000 espresso machine, and he would drink a bunch of espresso, and then she said his face would just get beet red, and he'd fucking pull his hair up and stuff and go like, what are we doing? What are we waiting for?
Yeah, it was she was exactly right. And the first day we had a 3.5-page scene in the diner where I realize he's a good salesman and he's talking to a lady about chicken wings or whatever they are, wingy. And he was doing a shot of espresso between each take. And we were like, Chris, what do you do? Like, we both didn't really know how much fucking coverage we would do. We thought we'd do the scene a few times. Everyone's like, great job. But that was a master. And then they push in and do a medium shot. Then they push over me and do my over the shoulder of Chris, then a tight, and then turn around and do me, and then me as a wide, and then the two of us in a side shot, and then the waitress this way, and then that way. And we had no idea. So we're there for 16 hours. And Chris is asleep at lunch going, what the fuck? We got more of this? We already did it 100 times. I go,
at 9 a.m.
Yeah, he peaked at 9 a.m. And we said, you can't. I said, I don't think you can have that cappuccino all day. You're going to have a heart attack. I said, that coupled with your salt imbalance leads to a weight problem. And so, so he goes, I got to tone it down. But he would drink all that in the morning, and he would crash so hard at lunch that all the PAs would be like, I'm not waking him up, because you'd hear knock, knock, knock. You hear, get the fuck out of here. And they're like, they need you. First team. So funny. And he come back so mad, and his hair all whatever.
Steam coming out of his ears.
All I remember is Bo was being lovely, and we were nervous around her. And so, but she couldn't have been more sweet. And she might have felt like because she wasn't every scene that, and these idiots, like this goofy comedy. But I'm glad it actually worked out where she's part of it, because over the years I always hear about it. It's very nice to hear about something like that. I'm glad she's part of it all.
I said, what do you remember about David mostly? And she said, I just remember a steady stream of people. Was eating more tuna fish sandwiches than I've ever seen anybody eat in their life. And he never put on a pound, but he was constantly eating tuna fish sandwiches.
It was the stress of the movie. My weight I was losing was going straight to Farley. So Lauren would say, well, the weight stayed on screen. It just shifted from you to him. But he said, you're like the number 10. It's a little skinny Spade, and then Farley
it became Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, it was Laurel and Hardy.
It was Laurel.
And through the, you're shooting the movie out of sequence, so we don't even know if it's any good. But we were stressed out of our fucking gourds.
This is a funny thing I want people who are listening to do. So I'm surprised there's not more outtakes and bloopers of you guys, because I looked them up online, and there's really only one little set of like a 3-minute little put together of bloopers, right? Yeah. Unless there's another one I couldn't find. But, when you're making a movie, you're there for fucking 6 weeks, mostly 14 hours a day, and you don't move to the next scene. For people who aren't in showbiz, you don't move to the next scene till you shoot one of the things David was talking about, like 2 people sitting at a table. Yeah. And then you'll shoot the other guy from another angle. And until you get that angle and then move it to another one, you don't even think about going outside to shoot the fucking scene in the rain with the deer or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I watch these bloopers, you know, people who haven't made many movies, it's always,
I know what you're going to say.
I don't know. Listen, it's always fun.
It's always fun.
It's always fun to fuck up and laugh, right? But the more somebody laughs and fucks up a take, the more you got to stay there and fucking do it. And the clock just ticks. And sometimes you're going, man, we could have been out of here an hour and I'm still trying to do this scene, right? So to watch Farley, you know, be like a little kid, because I was watching you and you,
yeah, I know.
You rarely fuck up, but Farley would constantly like machine gun laugh when he fucks up. And sometimes you laugh, but I'd look at your face in some of these and you're just like looking straight ahead and he's like tapping in your ear with the
I knew where you were heading with that because I saw the tape once and I was like, oh my God, look at me. Because I'm just staring into space going, we're going again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can't get it and you can't move on, like you said. And it's 3 hours after we're supposed to wrap and we have to fly back to New York from Toronto.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Farley, just say it. And he thought it was the greatest joy in the world to fuck up his lines and get the crowd laughing. He's like the mayor of the crowd. He's like, look at Chip over there. He's laughing. He knows what's going on. And I'm like, Farley, keep going. We got to get this. And so I could see some of those we would laugh and some of those we were just staring into space because we were in a daze going, it's so long. It's so long.
Yeah. And there's one little thing where he's trying to pop that fucking life preserver, right? That in the movie, he just grabs a pen and it pops. But there's an outtake of him, and you could kind of see the anger in him, which is
he's getting
rare.
mad.
He's like, this fucking pen doesn't fucking work, or something like that. That's
it wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah, it wasn't sharp enough. I love seeing those little intricate things in people.
Yeah, the behind the scenes. There's one time when I go, for some reason, when he goes, Zelensky is blah, blah, and I go, and he seems like a nice guy, and I go, he seems like a nice guy. And then he starts laughing, and then I start laughing because that's a genuine we crack up, and he laughs so hard. And he goes, what a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, we got to get that again because it sounded kind of funny. I hope they can keep that because I'm trying to stay in it, and then he laughs so hard I start laughing.
Oh, people look at it. There's a sweet one too where you're saying line and then you whisper his line to him and he fucking throws himself down and he's like,
because I would know his lines in my head. I'm like, just say this, and then I say this, and he's like staring into space. I'm like, that blank look. He does not know what's next.
It's so great. Good people listening, just fucking punch it in and watch it. All right, what do you want to know?
Well, these are your tent poles, basically, for the general public. Northern Exposure won the Emmy.
Yeah.
Your first huge job. Obviously, Sex in the City, and then revisiting it now.
Yeah.
Obviously, your time as a rock star, which is really interesting, or a country music star.
Yeah.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 1 and 2.
Jesus.
Parenthood. Kate Hudson, Raising Helen, Toni Collette's husband in United States of Terror.
Yeah.
So it's we can't get to all of it, but
that's okay. There's a lot of shit on there. Here's the thing, fellas.
Yes.
It's called Fly on the Wall, right? So you got to reveal some stuff, right? Or else we're just fucking talking.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, I kind of picked. Look, I'm at the fourth quarter of the football game now, in life and in showbiz. And it's just a fact. So I can reveal now, I picked the fucking wrong thing to do with my life, right? I mean, I really, being an actor is for one, since I was a kid, I hate to be told what to do, fucking by any authority figure. So I picked something to do with my whole life for my fulfillment of my work life, which is, dude, stand here, say this, put this on, look this way, say it faster, cut your hair like this. And there's not really, as an actor, in my position, which is, always second, third banana in
hired
something.
Hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not Emma fucking Stone in in pretty
Poor
fucking
things.
Poor things, where I'm collaborating. I'm not collaborating with the writers. I'm just fucking. Have you ever sat?
You feel like a puppet. You feel like a puppet.
But here's the part of the puppet. Have you ever sat in a fucking waiting room of a doctor's office for like an hour and you're going, what the fuck? For me, that's what making a movie is like, because I'm not part of any creative process. And those minutes that we'll do the table, and then they say, okay, we're going to turn around. We'll need you in 2 hours. That 14-hour day for those 6 weeks, where for anybody listening, it's going to sound like I'm an ungrateful prick, but I'm just telling you, for my work life, I made a lot of money. I live in a beautiful home. People come to me in every fucking restaurant I go in. I'm a friend of the world's. But as far as a fulfilling creative work life, I didn't write one fucking line. I didn't write one joke to make people laugh. So it's been unfulfilling on that level. Like all those things you mentioned. There were some, good times here and there, but most of it's sitting, waiting for them to fucking knock on your door to go, hey, we need you to come back and say that thing again. And to me, man, it's such a boring fucking life. Anybody listening has never been on a movie set. If you came to visit any one of us for 2 days, just 2 of those 14-hour days, you'd say, I never want to be here ever again. This is like watching paint dry.
And it's just human. It's just human stuff. Did you ever have a director that you felt, because I had this experience in my 3 movie career, was actively had animus toward you, didn't really want to cast you, was kind of subtly sabotaging you? I mean, you get in scenarios where you really feel,
many of them. Yeah, but mostly they've got such a, look, I'm not a fucking movie actor. I've been in basically Big Fat Greek Weddings, the only movie. I'm really a television actor, and so that thing has to move quick, and that guy's got to make a million decisions, and we're not shucking and jiving and going out for wine after. So I'm just at that point in my life now that I like being at home with Bo and the dogs, and I don't want to go to fucking Little Rock and stay, even if you're in a penthouse of the fucking Hyatt in Singapore. You're still not in your own fucking bed, and you're gone for 6 weeks. And for me, I can't. Every day is like a guy like marking the wall, going like, "I'll get out of here soon." So at this point in my life, I'm just gonna just sort of, if something seems really, really fucking fun, I'll say yes. But then I get there, and 2 days later, I'm always saying like, "Why did I fucking say yes?" Because also that work life means, at my best, I work 5 or 6 weeks a year, right? So saying I picked that unfulfilling thing to do, like, here's the thing, I have to sit and wait for the phone to ring. And like in 22, it never rang once. So for that whole year, I'm sitting like, how do I get besides playing the guitar and piano at home, how do I express myself? You guys can really, if you want to work fucking 52 weeks a year, you can do it. You can get a guy who books you. You can travel the fucking country. You got to stay in a lot of Holiday Inns, and you got to be on a lot of planes. And do you want to do that? But you can kind of control your own life, right? And work as much as you want. But, do you want to be fucking Carrot Top, right? Carrot Top, not taking anything away from fucking great. What he does is great. But for 17 years, he's been in Las Vegas doing 12 shows a week, pulling a fucking lighted toilet seat out of a trunk. And I mean, how exciting can that be for fucking Carrot
Don't give
Top?
away his closer.
I would just say, I'm going to play something, John.
Oh, let's play something.
Because within all that, which every actor, really, really incredibly successful ones like you've got a lot of nominations and stuff. This is a scene that I saw from Northern Exposure, where your character predicts the future. And so I understand why you got the Emmy for that performance. It's not easy. So here it is.
Let me see this
John
shit.
predicting the future.
Okay.
Well, I have to tell you, Chris, I felt a little self-conscious getting these. I mean, technically, I don't need to own my own washer and dryer. But then I thought, why am I being so provincial? It's no big luxury. I grew up with a washer and dryer.
And Grosse Pointe?
It smells new, like a new car. Look, and it's so shiny. It makes me feel, elegant.
That's the self-affirming power of a new toy. That's the life support system of the whole capitalist animal.
Huh?
I mean, when you think about it, the whole material gratification angle is just the tip of the iceberg. These babies here embody the whole woof and warp of human development.
A washer and dryer.
Ever since the Pleistocene era, Homo erectus has been flocking it down to the local creek to beat their first skivvies against rocks, right? Well, what's a laundromat except the same old creek, but with a cheap tin roof over it, huh?
Yeah, so?
But this This is progress. I mean, these 2 iron boxes, we've gone from communal suds to private spin cycle. We're on our total blitzkrieg towards isolation.
You think?
Listen to me, the day's coming, and it ain't gonna be long when you ain't even gonna have to leave your living room. No more schools, no more bodegas, no more tabernacles, no more cineplexes, all right? You're gonna snuggle up to your fiber optics, baby, and bliss out.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
Whoa.
That is a little prophetic. That's probably 1991 or so.
Yeah, the audience on this podcast will hear it, but I'm just saying, you know, we all have a little critic in our head, but within that the gauntlet you've walked of, you know, being in the trailer and being controlled like a puppet, there's some really good work. You know, I mean, you were in the pocket in that moment with that character.
I will say
that feels good.
Yes, and I will say that out of everything I've ever done, that was my first job. I think I was 27 or 8 when I got that. That was my first fucking job ever. I did a Wonder Years, you know, a little guest star, but that was it. Even to this day, that was and funny enough, after 30 years, they just started playing again on Amazon. They couldn't get the rights because of all the music.
Oh, really? Cool.
It just started streaming, which is kind of cool. But that was it. That was the one, because I would, as you know, I would go to work on days off and watch them work.
Yeah.
You remember when you would do that, right? Now it's
Totally.
like, fuck, I got to work. That was the one where we had amazing writers, and I don't think I could memorize that today at this age. I'd need fucking Marlon Brando cue cards.
That's all
everywhere.
I could think is, how do you memorize?
Oh my God. I couldn't do that today, but yeah, I know what you mean. And you gotta be, for people who aren't in the business and they're going, fuck this guy, you gotta be in this business to kind of get a hook into what I'm talking about. And you guys have been just as long as I have, Dana, even longer. I mean, you know, you've put up with all that shit before Saturday Night Live. You know, you were, you know, I'm curious to where your life would have been if Saturday Night Live didn't come along. I think you would have stayed in acting, and fucking good things would have happened there. But I think you would have found yourself, unless you were writing stuff, saying exactly what I'm saying. It's like, Christ, man.
No, I did Blue Thunder. I did One of the Boys. I was completely controlled in these little things and doing stuff I hated to be doing. So, I mean, again, you're living this dream, which we acknowledge to everybody. But right now, there's going to be some hammering at my.
Hey, now.
They were told,
that's right.
Hey, now.
my crew was told from 11 to 12 to not hammer on top of my head. So we're at that time. But yeah, that's all very true. But just one word to describe Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
One word or three words.
One paragraph. One page.
Fucking beautiful present team leader. If I could do something with just one person, if I had to act the rest of my life and had to pick one person, it would be her, man. I mean, there's something about this girl that's just fucking, you know, I can hit a tennis ball back and forth, you know, if you're not too good. And she'll just hit it back and forth with me all day and never try to fucking slam me one, you know, or anything like that, like some of these fucking actors do that you do scenes with. She's the best. And I get to do it again, apparently, because, you know, I did that reboot last year. And then right before the actors strike and the writer's strike, they said, hey, if we get picked up, would you do it again? And I said, sure, I'll come do some. But, you know, I really haven't heard anything since then. I'm hoping that we come back and do some more.
Let me see what's going on.
All right.
Wow.
I'll get back to you.
All right.
That's awesome.
Hey, Dana, would you tell me one of my favorite bits is to break this fucking guy complaining story up? Would you tell me the Travolta
Red Necky.
Red Necky. You know that's my favorite. You know, Red's my favorite.
So for some reason, John is a fan of this character. I do sometimes. Red Necky, the redneck comedian.
Now, what if now I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what if you didn't change a word and you did Red Necky as our buddy who introduced us, by the way, my fucking favorite guy on the planet, Dennis Miller. What if you did Red as Dennis? What would that sound like?
Oh.
All right. Let's give it a shot before there's more hammering. You ever fart so loud a dog 2 stayed away going, what that? Come and get some.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Give me one more. Give me one more.
Asked my mama to wash my tighty-whitey. She said, sure thing. I asked her how'd it go. She goes, great. Haven't seen skid marks like that since the Daytona 500. Come and get some.
Come and get some.
Oh, I fucking love it.
I asked my daddy what's for dinner. He says shit on a shingle. I said, this day just keeps getting better and better. Come and get some. It kind of works.
Superfly audience. We gotta carry that over to Superfly.
Oh, Dennis is the best. He's so fucking funny, Dennis.
Oh fuck, Dennis Miller is my favorite fucking friend in the world.
He's great. Yeah. So, well, we could go on for another hour and make a two-parter.
No, come back because you've scratched the surface. And
yeah, John, I mean, your stories are amazing. Really,
I have to say, you weren't complaining there. You were just giving a bleak reality that everyone kind of knows anyway, but they don't hear a lot. And everyone knows showbiz is tough. You were sort of saying parts that were tough. I mean, we all know the glitz and glamour and the money part when it works, but there's a grind there. It's always a grind. It doesn't totally just go away.
And, okay, now I have to do one more thing. Here you were in control, and then I'll do your request. This is 30 seconds. Greg, could you play the song? In Control. John Corbett, original.
I'm going to play my stuff.
Little Bon Jovi feel at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Come on.
Star.
Oh, it's a whole video. We're watching a video.
Stories about all the wild women we've known. When the conversation turns to you, baby, I've learned.
Man, come on, man.
Whoa, look at this shot.
That's a whole other bottle of whiskey. That's a whole other case of the blues.
So
that's funny.
There you go. Yeah. That's written by you. I assume essentially co-produced. Played the instruments. Look him up.
Look me up. That's a lot of fun. As you know, being a fellow musician, that's a lot of fun. Hey, let me tell David.
I can't do what I just saw though, but go ahead.
David, I got a catchphrase for you. You need a catchphrase.
Sure.
And you gave it to yourself. One of my favorite things, and then we'll get off. One of my favorite things you did was you did Norm's show, before before he passed. And I love, do you remember your catchphrase for the angry guy? And he goes, hey, how would the angry guy say it when you were talking about getting catfished? And you did the fucking funniest thing. You're like, show me that push.
That's horrible, but yes, I do.
Yeah,
it's a great catchphrase.
That's the guy that's the dirty pervert that DMs girls and he's too rough right away.
Yeah.
Is that what it?
I got a line for you. Would you say this line and then give me the catchphrase?
Go ahead.
Okay, the line is, I'll put this order in and be right back with your drinks, girls. Catchphrase.
Okay, let me see if I remember the catchphrase. Okay, girls, I'm just going to put your order in and I'll be right back with your drinks. Does that sound good? Now show me that pussy.
Turns into The Exorcist.
I don't know. John, I hear a lot about that Norm show. I never saw it, but it was his Netflix show, and I heard so much nice things about it. And it's hard to watch now because he passed away, but doing it was funny, and it was really because it was such a ragtag operation, and it made me think that's the way all these shows should be because it was so funny that it was such a fucking
so
screw off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we had a blast. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And I don't remember that one, and I just did remember it.
Great.
So, and by the way, thanks for coming on. Also, you kind of stole Dana as my friend. That's fine. We're not going to skim over that. Dana's got a new friend. He's up there having dinners every night, laughing and giggling.
I have an in-town place.
Yeah,
I'll see you next week.
When he comes to see me, he struggles through a dinner, and it's fine. And that's great. But John, you were hysterical. What a blast.
Yeah.
Thanks
fun.
for talking to us.
I love it. I had fun. Thank you guys.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.